This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they're kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fan. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Lots to talk about. We got the Royal Rumble, Stardom, Nagoya, Super Wars, or whatever the hell they named
Stardom, Nagoya Supreme Fight.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Super Wars was like that run from at the end of last year. Yeah, they switched it up. Yeah.
And I think there's some AEW stuff in there, but there was some good stuff that was out there. There was a promotion that I think it has like a myriad of problems that we're going to explore. It was like there's a lot to talk about, so we might as well get right to it.
Yeah, let's start with the top, and then we'll go through it. So, WWE Royal Rumble 2022. General thoughts on it, Rich. I'll let you go first. General thoughts.
So overall, I thought it was I felt like there was a show that was coming, right? And they knew they had to do the Royal Rumble, but like they didn't really have any ideas. That goes for the title matches. That goes for the Rumbles itself. They leaned on this Forbidden Door, like talk amongst fans to get people excited about it. And meanwhile, anyone like could see nothing was happening the whole time. I thought it just stunk. Like as far as getting people excited, it was like a glaring example of when WWE does it wrong. It feels like this. As far as the Royal Rumble matches, I've seen people that were extremely hard on them, like they were some of the worst Royal Rumbles of all time. Don't get it wrong. I think neither of these were close to even good. Right. But I do not want people to forget the fucking catastrophe that the 2015 Royal Rumble was, the most damaging match in the modern history of WWE. Awful. Like, it will never touch that. Like, this was just run-of-the-mill, boring. You can see the shit coming from 50 miles away. Like, I had one question, like, what if this card, like, and I know it's fake, so whatever, but like, what if the matches were in a different order? Like, everything falls apart in that case. Like, it's so stupid how they booked pretty much everything on the show. We're talking champions getting disqualified for kicking too much ass. We've got Becky Lynch and Doudrop, heel versus heel, like the crowd just sitting there in confusion while the signs are on fire. We have what symbolism we have when Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey both win Royal Rumbles and the WrestleMania sign promptly lights on fire afterward. Like, I think that says it all.
Yeah, I watched this show, more or less like over 12 hours removed from watching Stardom's beat pay-per-view. Like, it's an anniversary show, but like, they have challenges for the red and white belts that are non-threats. They're going to lose. And I'm to be quite honest with you, like, they're putting more effort into their anniversary show that's a B show that everything is literally built towards getting to March 26th and 27th in back-to-back nights in Sumo Hall than it is for the road to WrestleMania, the start of the road to WrestleMania. The biggest fucking event in professional wrestling annually. Nothing's even close. Nothing's even remotely close. And like, it's just a thing where it's like, hey, maybe once upon a time, I would have, maybe once upon a time I would have been okay with this, as far as saying like, you know, 2 and change star match here, 2 and change star match here. I got a good ass match between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but I got a shitty finish, and you know, hopefully they'll have a really good match, a rematch, whatever else, and you know, I always have lower expectations compared to other people for Rumbles anyway. I think they're mostly crummy wrestling, and outside of like a handful of things change the outcome between it being a bad Rumble and what people consider a very good Rumble. So whatever. But like, I've been spoiled too much by like some of the best wrestling I've ever seen over the last 6 years, like from New Japan and the Wrestle Kingdoms and the Dominions and the G1s to NXT and the takeovers and you know, that era from like 2018 through 2019 when it was a 1-hour show to Stardom to AEW and their pay-per-views and you know, their week-to-week shows. Like, nah, man, this ain't good enough. Like, it wasn't necessarily some terrible, awful, god awful show. I think is a bad show compared to the entire length of the show. But like, you take it piece by piece, match by match, it's just an average, just a in the middle mid show. But that's not good enough if it's the second biggest show of promotions year. Like, I'm telling, it has to be better. It just has to. So for me, I just
Yeah, and it's like they're pulling shit that other promotions would just get fucking crucified for. Like, imagine ending an IWGP championship match like that.
Oh my god!
Imagine ending an AEW title match on pay-per-view like that. Like,
would never happen.
Like,
would never happen.
This, and it just flies, like, because of whatever.
Rich, people get mad when you have a red or white belt match go to a 30-minute time limit draw where they beat the fuck out of each other. Am I wrong here?
Like, a draw would have been a superior option to what they did.
It would have been. But, you know, they don't do time limit draws.
First time in the chat, my man Joe Saba said they booked a card full of heel versus heel matches. Who are the crowd supposed to cheer for? Crowler says it's so hard to not make the Royal Rumble interesting. Yes, because it's supposed to be an all-star game. You're supposed to be able to, like, find callback. All the callbacks are staring you in the face. The entrances, the pairings, like, that's what the Royal Rumble's about. It's not necessarily, you're not looking for great wrestling or anything. Like, you're looking for, like, hey, how creative can they be? You have all these tools and all these people. You have fucking surprises. You have the element of surprise. You have the sports element to it. Like, you can tell whatever story you want, and they just came up, you know, with nothing essentially. Like, and then like the women's Rumble was just like, it had me considering that, hey, maybe we should just go back to one Royal Rumble a year.
I mean, it was not good, man. It was not good.
Look, as T.I. would say, substandard conditions.
Yeah, it was not good. So I am right now trying to find. Yep, found it. So this is from Finishel's column where he was ranking all of the best and worst Royal Rumbles. And me personally, he was writing like the ones, he was ranking them himself, and then he had people give like dissenting opinions or basically, you know, basic contrarian opinions of like, why is this too low, why is it too high? So for me, he had me do the 98 one, and my gist of it was that it's like, hey, these things, and right now I'm struggling to find it. I wish I could get to the main one. All right, let's just continue talking about the show, and then I'll find it eventually.
So Bruce had a question. He said, would the Women's Rumble have been better with the NXT women's talent in there instead of the nostalgia acts? Not really. I don't think.
As far as the work, yeah, maybe, sure, but it is so... It comes down to effort, right? Like, Vince McMahon is going to want to do something with Nikki Bella or Michelle McCool or Brie Bella more than he is going to want to do something with Io Shirai. As far as like for that one night, because to him, Io Shirai is not a star. Even if she comes out and she'll end up getting one of the biggest pops in the entire night because everyone respects her. And everybody recognizes NXT. So yeah, I think that's just a major problem. Like Vince's idea of what's over isn't like actually in tune with what his crowd reacts to. And it's always been that fight, and he's always going to win, and this is why you ended up with people in these. That's why he's with all of his stars being heels right now, and then you get to the second biggest show of the year, and it's like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Like we have murdered the entire babyface roster in Clubhouse. In SmackDown, hey, bring Seth back to SmackDown after he just left Raw in November, and to have him feud with Roman Reigns while he's a fucking heel. He's a heel on Raw, but he's a babyface while he's facing Reigns on SmackDown while he is being the jerk in the whole feud. It boggles the mind, and it's like
90% of the people in both matches were not over. So, and the themes were just like, they've been changing all these things out, and they all just kind of hit you in the face. Like, those themes are horrible that they have now, so they're not even filling the arena. So I guess we should begin Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes out first on the show. Gets a good reaction. Of course, he's like one of the only people they react for because they've programmed it this way. Who else would you want to cheer for? Like, that's a big thing that I got while I was watching this. I was like, man, if I was some type of WWE zombie, of course you would be cheering for Roman Reigns right now. Everyone else is a geek. Then, speaking of geeks, Seth Rollins comes out. They hit the Shield music. So I was like, man, and the crowd like kind of pops. I think it's actually a creative and kind of clever moment. I was like, man, no one's actually gotten over using that music since 2014. And then, Seth is coming out there, comes through the crowd. Roman is furious. Spawned a couple memes that I saw floating around that were pretty funny. They get down to the ring. They're doing the introductions. They're doing all the mannerisms. Or Seth is doing all his modern day mannerisms while wearing the Shield outfit. And then it hits me. I'm like, oh, that Shield SWAT uniform that they were wearing to kind of just make them look cool and all that. Like, there was a geek hiding underneath that. And it was in disguise the whole time. So they start the match, and I think the match is actually like pretty good. Like, they were like getting the crowd pretty excited. Rollins was on him early, trying to put him away with the sling blades and the curb stomps, and the crowd really bid on one of the early near falls. Spilled outside the ring at one point. Seth was really throwing Roman around until Roman turned it around. I forgot which one of them got put through a table. I think it was Roman. He got powerbombed through the table outside the ring.
And they called it a shield bomb, I think, something like that.
Yes, a shield bomb. That made me laugh. But all in all, like they started pretty much, showing their normal chemistry they had like a couple years ago. These guys are older now than they were like 5 years ago having these matches, so the pace wasn't the fastest or anything. Seth it was a funny thing. I like to mess with Rob sometimes. So like when I saw Seth doing those running dives through the ropes or whatever, I was like, the Seth Rollins I know wearing that outfit used to do the front flip over the top rope. Where's that?
Right.
So, it was a, the match like started, breaking down from there. They were fighting for control. Reigns ends up taking control, beats the shit out of him, chokes him out, basically makes him look like a geek. But there's a whole thing where Charles Robinson, some type of botch happens, where Seth Rollins' arm comes down on the rope, but Robinson makes sure his hand gets on the rope, and Roman Reigns chokes this guy out, then doesn't release the hold, and Charles Robinson disqualifies him. So we're beginning the Royal Rumble with a disqualification in the championship match, and Seth Rollins wins the match, but Roman Reigns then beats the shit out of him with a steel chair for about what seemed like a half hour, just wailing on this guy.
Yeah, like you said, that's pretty much the thing. I will add that, like, there was a very good build up towards the near fall in the beginning of the match. Like they had Rollins come out like a ball of fire and hit Roman with a million things, and then hit him with a curb stomp. I think they were trying to invoke kind of like the WrestleMania 35 match in the opener. Yeah. Where like he got brought the fuck out of there in like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever else. So they could do the rematch at SummerSlam and have the real match. But yeah, I was like, people bit for it too, and I'm sitting there like, no, they're not about to be Roman Reigns in like 3 fucking minutes. Are you kidding me? That'd be fucking ridiculous. So, but yeah, like as you mentioned, like getting Roman more and more mad after he took his best shot, and then he slapped on a guillotine, and like while he's doing it, like listen to a review I heard Jason Solomon say this, like, Seth showed up at SmackDown wearing a purple suit with a purple shirt and a green tie, and obviously it was to invoke the Joker, and he's playing mind games with Batman, with Roman Reigns being Batman now. And I was thinking to myself, like, that kind of sucks because, like, Batman is the hero.
I was gonna say, yeah, like, isn't Roman?
And the one that we're cheering is and the one that we're supposed to be cheering is the Joker. Like, nah, man. And like, if anything, we go into the Shield stuff. Like, the person that was the Joker was Ambrose. That's why they were doing the held hand. The held camera promo to invoke, kind of the energy that was coming off of Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. So it's like, no, like you can't just like they did a lot of stuff with Seth and the Shield stuff that like is completely like, is just something that's cool to do, but if you think about it for like even half a second, you're like, no, I never forgave you. You forgave him like 5 million fucking times.
You made up 3 or 4 times.
Yes. Yeah.
They
like,
had,
how many reunions? Three reunions?
Yeah. Until we were tired of it. It was so bad.
So
they had people just losing their mind talking about long-term booking when Roman Reigns hitting him with the chair. I'm like, no. I was like, the person that he was beating the hell out of with the chair like that was he doesn't work for this promotion anymore. Right. So like,
right. Like if he had hit him with one chair shot and then Seth fell there and laid there for 5 minutes, that would have been what would have happened. Like,
learn the difference between a callback and long-term booking. Like, this is not what they were intending. Like when they broke up the Shield, everybody that is on the internet doing such a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, it was their best match of the night.
Says a lot.
Yeah. And like, like if they got an actual legitimate finish, we might be looking at 4 stars. We might have been looking at 4 stars. But they gave you a terrible finish. Like when I originally saw that finish, I was like, that is awful. Like the ref put his fucking hand on the top on the rope to make the ropes, and then Roman out of perfectly reasonable was like, hey, fucking ref, you screwed me. No, fuck that. I'm choking him out. I'm not letting go of this hold. And he DQ'd him.
Imagine.
But he definitely went over the edge. He definitely went over the edge and snapped. He's like, no, he got screwed by the ref. Fire the ref. Reprimand the ref. Beat up the ref.
Women's Royal Rumble. This thing was abysmal. Just sorriness everywhere. A regression. A state of like seeing the people that they want to get started and having no confidence. This is why we got to be careful about words like influential and, legacy defining and,
Wait, what? What are you even talking about?
So like with the influence stuff, like, like everyone talks about how influential Sasha Banks and Bayley and the four horsewomen in general are.
Yeah, sure.
And they might be to like, people that want to get started in this thing, but like they have changed nothing like about how this place works, like what they're scouting. You can just look at NXT and see what's coming down the pike and then see what they're bringing back. And then it's just like, it's bad, really bad. And standards are low because there are people that are ready to accept this with open arms. However, I am not. James, you wrote out a pretty funny meme, like breaking down the entrance of each Rumble. So I don't know how you want to do this, but maybe I can read the real name and then you can, read off your status.
Let's do that. Let's do that for this women's Rumble. Then we'll go through the Rumble. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
So here are your Royal Rumble women's match participants. Number 1, Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks.
Number 2, Melina.
Retired.
Number 3, Tamina.
Jag.
Number 4, Kelly.
Retired.
Number 5, Leah.
Young girl.
Number 6, Liv Morgan.
Loser.
Number 7, Queen Zelina.
Loser.
Number 8, Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair.
Number 9, Dana Brooke.
Jag.
Number 10, Michelle McCool.
Retired.
Number 11, Sonya Deville.
Authority figure.
Number 12, Natalia.
Mid-card vet.
Number 13, Cameron.
Fired.
Number 14, Naomi.
Mid-card vet.
Number 15, Carmella.
Jag.
Number 16, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Number 17, Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair.
Number 18, Ivory.
60.
Number 19.
Whoa. So let's stop here because I don't know whenever we're going to talk about Ivory again. As far as this show, hey man, that's a good looking 60, and apparently that 60 is actually really 63. Word is on the street that 60 is really 63.
Really?
Yeah.
Shouts out to Ivory.
Yeah, shouts out to Ivory. I've always liked Ivory. She was always a good promo. And she came out here and she was a good promo again. And then she cut a backstage promo where she basically was thinking off the top of her head. And it was funny as hell. She needs to be on TV because she right now in this division be at worst the second best promo in the division. In that entire division. Bring her back at 60, as kayfabe 60, shoot 63.
Yo, Bruce says the female Sting. Number 19, Brie Bella, Brie Mode.
Retired.
Number 20, Mickie James.
Fired.
21, Alicia Fox.
Fired.
22, Nikki A.S.H.
Mechanic.
23, Summer Rae.
Retired.
24, Nikki Bella.
Retired.
25, Sarah Logan.
Fired. Fired.
Shit. 26, Lita.
Retired.
27, Mighty Molly.
Retired.
28, Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
29, Shotzi.
Young girl.
30, Shayna Baszler.
Gatekeeper. So, in the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble, out of 30 participants, there was Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. 5 people that you could actually be like, yeah, that person actually has even half a chance of winning.
Yeah.
Most Rumbles, it's like 9, 8.
Yeah, lots of Jags retired. Just this is bad, man. No way around it. And then Ronda wins.
Yeah,
no
and I don't
secret.
mean this from a perspective of we're inside fans. We know who actually really has a chance. It's like if you're just watching the product and you see these people, you get the vibe of like from the pop they get, that kind of sort of thing where like people actually believe in them to where they can win. Like there were years where like, I know it's funny now, but like there were years probably like 6 years ago where like Dolph Ziggler hit the Rumble and like people actually like had some hope like, Final Four. He actually had to win the Final Four. You look at some of these people like, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Zelina, ain't no fucking way. No knock against her. She does what she can do. But they haven't done anything to get these people up. Naomi should be somebody that should always be a threat to win the Rumble. They've done nothing with her entire fucking career.
Yeah. And it's just like these people have been around, like, it's bad. And then, you start talking about Ronda Rousey. I'm obviously not a fan of hers. Right. I think she's possibly the most low effort wrestler going. I don't mean the work within the ring. I mean just like her approach to the business and like, just being awful as a character on Twitter, just selfish, completely has no idea of how this thing works, even though she's supposed to be a fan.
Remember we hurt her feelings, so.
Yeah, we hurt her feelings, she's a Make-A-Wish wrestler. Like, as I've said several times, she's, don't get it wrong. Like, I'll never take away like the fact, like she had some good matches with Nia Jax. She had a good match with Charlotte before, but when it came down to it, I didn't think she had a concept of the business at all. The worst thing to do is just come out here and be like, it's fake. And like, this wasn't stuff they were necessarily writing for her either. This is like, her doing the Twitter stuff and the character stuff. Maybe this run won't bother me as much because I'm not actively reviewing it. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, by the time Ronda was gone last time, I never wanted to see her again in wrestling. And she came out, she looked pretty bad in the Royal Rumble, but I'm not going to hold it against her. So she's kind of just coming off the table, it looks like. So give her a couple more months. Maybe she'll get ready. And, her and Charlotte should, probably figure something out. But
they had a great match at Survivor Series based on like a 1 week or probably a 5-day notice or whatever else in 2018. So like they've had a great match before. If they go out there and don't live up to that standard, then, what is that? Yeah. That ain't no good look for the future of what it could be for Ronda, because Ronda's going to be around doing matches for like a full year at least.
Yeah, I think she's she's pretty whiny. She's a baby in a lot of different cases, and peak white woman, as I've said, peak spoiled white woman, and it's just like I'm not. It doesn't move me over here, like, but. They brought her back. She did get a nice pop when she came out.
She did.
Just, I think people actually were surprised to see her, but I feel like that is going away quickly.
Yeah. So, but as far as this match, like we're probably like by the time they threw out Sasha before they could get to, I believe it was Bianca at 8. I was like,
"Oh, tell them why. Tell them, Lauren."
Oh, well, if they do the showdown, then you remember about like how you got screwed out of that match at SummerSlam and you're never getting that match again.
Can't have that. And then Bianca Belair doesn't win this match. So there's a lot of, and James, I actually feel good about the tweet now either way, because it doesn't change if they do Bianca at she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything to earn her way back into a match, other than like just be on Raw around a bunch of losers. She's like the less loser of all of them. Yeah, and then it still doesn't change the fact that she was squashed at SummerSlam for no reason. Like that was my primary point on it, and it's just like all these people that have carried this water, now look at you, drown in it. Like it's like you'll never be able to explain that one to me, because we won't be getting that Sasha Banks and Bianca rematch, and then Bianca beating Becky. I mean, cool, like whatever, but like it's to a way lesser response, and they've fucked her up a lot, and then I think they've fucked Rhea up even more. So
yeah,
it's bad.
Like I imagine that Rhea is going to be whoever comes out of WrestleMania with the title. She's going to be someone's like next title program. But it's like, you had this woman on ice for like a year. Like, she finished second in the Rumble last year. And then she was Raw champion because you had to take it off of Asuka because you had it for so long. And then...
Like, there's nothing to do when you win the title immediately.
Well, that, and then, like, she lost to Charlotte. And then they did the belt flip thing, or belt flip thing.
Charlotte also eliminated Rhea Ripley from this Rumble just in case anybody thought anything had changed. Like, no, it is Charlotte's personal mission in life to let y'all know Rhea Ripley is not on our level.
Yep.
Incredible worker that Charlotte is. But it looks like a Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair program. Those promos are going to be abysmal. They're going to be expecting people to cheer Ronda Rousey. I think it's just going to go really bad. And I think, like, she's going to come off unlikable, like normal. And Charlotte's going to be like, well, you know, this is the match y'all like. And the reason this is happening is because promises were originally made. This was the match they always wanted to do. They didn't want Becky Lynch in it last time.
Yeah.
Promises kept.
The only thing I'm gonna say to them is, like, if they have half a brain, what they'll do is they'll just fight. Like, they'll just brawl everywhere. Like, very little talking in the next, I think it's 70 days, something like that, and just brawl. And then pull apart. And, like, because, like, them being physical with each other is going to make people want the match as opposed to them talking themselves out of it. Because, like, they'll talk themselves out of it. Because it won't take long for Ronda to flub a promo and lose her nerve. And then, like, because that happened last time when she was actually in the groove of it. So, like, getting back into it, like, it's going to be even harder. Like, I could see the crowd getting all over her, and then, like, and that's the thing for me. I was like, she's gonna get 2 return pops. She returned to Rumble, returned her first, like, let's say first week back, and after that, it's an uphill battle because, like, she's gonna get herself less and less over. The more they're gonna have her go out there and expose herself as an unlikable person. So, it's best for them to do less talking and more physical activity to get people hyped to see them tear each other apart.
And they're not really giving people the match they want to see.
That too, yeah.
So they're fighting.
If they even want to see Ronda back, like us,
correct,
or like you. I don't care, but whatever.
Right, like, so whatever. Up next, the WrestleMania sign caught on fire. So if it leaked on anybody, I hope you sue, like, immediately. They get it to go out. But we get Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. I thought they worked really hard. It just went on forever, and the crowd was distracted by the WrestleMania sign being on fire, because why wouldn't they be? And this was just, you know, they tried, but it was never going to get there.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of effort in this match. I thought that obviously the psychology is off because it's heel versus heel. So in that situation, you either want to root for the title change or you root for the dynamics of the match. And the dynamics of the match is you have Doudrop in there, who's much bigger than Becky. So Becky's, coming up with all these ways to try to put her away, but she's being thwarted by the power and the size difference. So ultimately, after, being put on the roads for a while, and Doudrop, I keep wanting to call her Viper or Piper. And Doudrop ends up, like, crushing her in the corner with a cannonball, and stuff. Like, she tries to go finish her up with, I think, like a Vader bomb, and Becky gets up and hits her with a manhandle slam off the second rope and finish her. And so, like, I mean, it was a lot of thought put into the match, but uphill battle. No one believes for a second that the Monster has a chance to win the belt. She's also not over because they have done nothing to get her over. They named her fucking Doudrop for fuck's sake. Correct. Of course she's not over. I just want Doudrop to be in Stardom again. It's kind of it's just kind of it. Like Tony's out. Like, I don't know when Tony is going to talk or what she said to Doudrop, but, like, y'all need to go get that Gaijin money. Y'all really do. They want you back. The fans want you back. You'll be utilized way better. Come home. just come home. Like, the worldwide leader, I mean, that's cool, but, like, are you actually creatively fulfilled? It'd be one thing if, like, they were doing, if she was doing something really cool or whatever else, and, like, yeah, she just did fight, or just have a match with, like, the most over woman in the industry. That's cool, but it's like, is it gonna be a follow-up? Is it gonna be a program? No, you were just the bum of the month, and, like, you're gonna go right back into the pile of names.
Choose that Royal Rumble title match we always talk about.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like some type of
There's always one that, like, kind of is a dud, yeah.
Yeah. Then we got, speaking of duds, we've got Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, which, like, had an incredible video package ahead of time. Even though they left some stuff out and lied and embellished about some stuff.
Well, I mean, it's WWE.
Saying Bobby Lashley came back and was like this killing machine. Stop playing. Like, that man was out here bending over on the television.
Double ankle hold. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't let them lie to you. But they get to it. They're throwing each other around. And I'm liking it. King's Road, dangerous. And then, like,
I love their lockup. They just going at it 2 times. Yeah.
Then Bobby decides, hey, man, I can't be getting dropped on the back of my head. So no more. I'm going to just, like, put my hand down and my shoulder down, and it just starts getting all fucked up, and it looks bad.
Yeah.
It looks worse, even.
I was concerned.
Yeah, like,
he's going to pop his shoulder out the socket.
Yeah, he got to throw Brock around a little bit. But then, of course, Roman Reigns comes out and decides to finish. Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar.
Hold on, play. Okay, so Brock throws one suplex. Bobby throws one, and it was brutal on Brock. Brock was like, that was a good one, but I'm still, like, not concerned. So... then Brock proceeds to German him a few times, and then you get to, like you mentioned, he gets thrown in his head enough times where he starts saying, fuck that, I'd rather have my shoulder pop out the socket. So they end up outside the ring. After Lashley gets an advantage, Lashley goes for a spear by the scorekeeper's table. Brock gets out the way, and Lashley eats shit. They end up back in the ring, and Brock is giving him the business some more. Lashley somehow slaps on the, ends up slapping on the, the Hurt Lock, the full Nelson, and Brock is selling like crazy. He's selling it for like 2 fucking minutes. And then eventually he basically like pushes the ref into the corner. Ref gets bumped. Lashley lets go of the hold. And then Brock gets him up, hits with an F5, so he gets a visual, in the F5, basically, Lashley's feet clip the ref, so a second ref bump, and then, he gets the visual pin, Brock does, and then Roman comes out, and there we go. Roman then, spears Lesnar, he looks at looks at Heyman, who's sitting at ringside, who has the WWE title. He asks for the title. And Heyman, who misses his tribal chief, wants to be back in the warm embrace of his tribal chief, gives the tribal chief the WWE title, and Roman ends up hitting Lesnar with a belt shot, and then he ends up throwing that fucking Super Intercontinental title on the mat because he don't give a fuck about it.
Yep.
and then he gets out the ring, and then the ref comes too, and then Lashley comes too, and he covers him after a belt shot.
Yes,
because it could not be Bobby Lashley beating Brock Lesnar. It had to be Roman Reigns via cheating to beat him. Yes,
like, a black wrestler beats Lesnar straight up. Never. So Bobby Lashley wins the mud belt, and like, you look at that belt this past month, right? Like,
oh man,
that shit is in a 5-way, changing hands. That shit is like getting fucking interfered on to switch it to basically that Triple H, title change or whatever, where Triple H does the finish and then like tells someone else to pin him. This, like the belt looks awful now. Like, and if there was any doubt on what the real number one belt is,
wait, didn't
right there
when they did the 4-way, right, for the belt was vacated after SummerSlam 2016 when Finn has separated his shoulder or whatever else, right? And it was an elimination match. Like, didn't they eliminate Roman Reigns by having Triple H come out and hit him with pedigree, and then Seth covered him and didn't do nothing, he just covered him because he got hit with the pedigree?
Yep, and then Kevin Owens, he also pedigreed
Seth,
Rollins,
right? And then that's how Triple H. That's how Triple H made him his new guy.
Correct. Well, not really, but
Well, that's what the story was. He's a corporate champion, and
he never appeared with Triple H again after that.
No, he never did. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I thought this sucked, and Lashley versus Lesnar, it started so like promising, and then by the end it was just like this entire company is just built around two guys. Everyone else is a fucking geek, and it doesn't matter if they're wearing a belt, it doesn't matter if they get a little pop or anything. Everyone is in service of Roman Reigns, of Brock Lesnar. So you might as well just like realize. I wonder if I watched the promotion through the view of just Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, how I would enjoy it, and everyone else is just like doesn't matter. I wonder how that would go.
Oh no, man. I enjoyed the match until the run in. I was like, once the run in happened, I just rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, of course, this is what they do. Like they're dead set on doing Brock and Roman again, and like. After what they've done together, it's like, why the fuck will you ever do this match again?
Time is a flat circle, and out of all these matches they've ever had against each other, they've only had one good match.
Yeah.
Makes it interesting, though. Like, will this one get hijacked as well? I don't know.
I mean, probably not, because people are past the point of, like, in that way, and like it's
I think they've lost that fight at this point because like it doesn't like matter. They've just
I don't know. I just think like it is what it is, that people don't care.
There's no one else to even like want in the way now. Bryan Danielson's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like who would care enough to rebel? Correct. Anyone who would care enough to rebel for is gone.
Yeah, they're watching AEW and they're like detached like we are. That's pretty much that's kind of what I mean. As opposed to trying to fight Vince McMahon is like, look, in theory, AEW's best thing ever happened because now like those fans those pesky unruly fans, they don't watch the show no more.
Yep, they can just go react the correct way, like in another promotion. So. After that, we got Miz and Maurice against Edge and Beth Phoenix. This stunk on ice. Maurice, however, 10 stars.
I thought this match had a good layout for the stupid multiple hot tags built off of nobody being a heel or nobody being face. It's time to turn. So like we beat each other to a tie, and then we tag out at the same time, and then someone's a house of fire every time. I at least Maurice had the purse with the brick in it. I mean, one thing I will note, because Murray sent this to me. Ms. Maurice showed up in all red, looking like they're members of Congo.
That's great. Yes.
So put him next to Nakajima and put him next to Kino. So outside of that, I really ain't got much for you. This match was just
this went so long, and then it made me think that Edge was about to get a world title shot at some point. But seeing the announcement tonight made me think otherwise. because it feels like it's going to go title versus title now. I thought they were going to do Edge and Lashley, but nah. Yes, as Joe said, the aesthetics were pleasing. They were.
Wow.
Yes. So the Royal Rumble men's match. We also have a chart for these guys as well. So
hold on. We'll get to that in a second. But I actually found what I was going to talk about. It actually is more appropriate because like there was less so of the returning old timers, if you will, and legends and Hall of Famers from the women's side. It was mostly just the actual roster, which is like, yo, this is really depleted. So, as I said, Finishell, he wrote this thing ranking the best Royal Rumbles of all time. This is back 2018, so obviously a lot of stuff is made over the last few years. But he had me write about the he had like the 98 Royal Rumble like as like one of like the third worst Rumble ever. And I was like, nah, man, like all them shits from the 80s mostly fucking suck. So no, I'm not going for it. So my opening of that to talk before I eventually get to defending the 98 Rumble, I end up saying my thoughts on Royal Rumble matches, aside from about like 8 or 9 of them, are that they're roughly all the same from a critical standpoint. Trying to determine which edition of a match that's mostly just 7 guys half-assedly trying to dump out 4 other geeks, clamp to the ropes until the most of the real stars show up is a fool's errand. Real talk, this thing is a showcase in Pavlovian science where the crowd counts down in anticipation of a learned reward, a big-time debuting superstar, returning alum, a main eventer. So, we go from there. Like, that lets you know kind of where I am on Rumbles. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, like, there are some, like, the ones that are really good, I'll be like, yeah, that's really good work. Like, 07, 2008, 92, the ones that are really good, I will point out, but for the most part, most of these things are kind of the same. So, Rich, you mentioned it, so let's go through it about these rosters again.
So, yeah, Brock Lesnar loses the WWE title earlier in the night. Let's keep that in mind. Number 1, AJ Styles.
Legacy Act.
Wow. Number 2.
Is he ever going to be champion again?
Right. Number 2, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Legacy Act.
Wow. Number 3, Austin Theory.
Young Boy.
Robert Roode. Number 4.
Veteran Tagger.
Number 5, Ridge Holland.
Young Boy.
Number 6, Montez Ford.
Top Tagger.
Number 7, Damian Priest.
Mid-card champ.
Number 8, Sami Zayn.
Mid-card vet.
Number 9, Johnny Knoxville.
Celebrity.
Number 10, Angelo Dawkins.
Top Tagger.
Number 11, Omos.
Giant.
Number 12, Ricochet.
Mechanic.
Number 13, Chad Gable.
Mid-card Tagger.
Number 14, Dom Mysterio.
Young Boy.
Could have wrote bum there, but that works as well. Number 15, Happy Corbin.
Jag. Just a guy.
Number 16, Dolph Ziggler.
Vet Tagger.
Number 17, Sheamus.
Legacy Act.
Number 18, Rick Boogs.
Young Boy.
Number 19, Madcap Moss.
Young Boy.
Number 20, Matt Riddle.
Top Tagger.
Number 21, Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
I got excited when Drew came in.
Same.
Number 22, Kevin Owens.
Legacy Act. Am I wrong here? Is he ever going to main event WrestleMania or SummerSlam ever again?
Fuck no.
Well, actually, he's never done either of those anyway. But you get my point.
Yeah.
Like he's on the back end.
Number 23, Rey Mysterio.
He's wrestling for his kids now. Also, Rey Mysterio Legacy Act. Also wrestling for his kids now. Literally.
Number 24, Kofi Kingston.
Legacy Act.
Number 25, Otis.
Mid-card Tagger.
Number 26, Big E.
Legacy Act.
27, Bad Bunny.
Celebrity.
28, Shane McMahon.
Legacy Act.
29, Randy Orton.
Legacy act.
Number 30, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. So out of the 30 people in this Rumble, 2 of them were people that you could have halfway believed could have won the fucking Rumble. If you actually known that Brock Lesnar was going to be in it beforehand, you wrote this out on the list, be like, oh, only people that could possibly win this shit is Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Not Kevin Owens, not AJ Styles, not Kevin Owens, not Rey Mysterio, not Matt Riddle. None of them.
Yep. Just in there filling space, filling time, filling, like you look at those first 10 entrants, right? And then it's like, what are we doing here? Like, Ridge Holland was just in the ring forever. He's a bum. And you can see the guys that they're picking in the new, like, kind of direction, which is the old direction. Like, they're your Ridge Holland.
Like, cool. Ridge Holland is Ridge Holland is like 6 foot flat or 6'1" Brock Lesnar.
Right, you got Ridge Holland, you got your Rick Boogs, you got your Madcap Moss. In the older form, you've got your Baron Corbin there, and it's just like there's more of them coming, like Von Wagner and whatever the fuck. But this is a pretty bad Royal Rumble. Like I said, 2015 was worse just because of the booking and the squandering and like the stuff with The Rock and Roman Reigns and it being just damaging to the promotion. This one was just the cabinet is barren.
There was no Daniel Bryan that you could even have hope to be like, we want him we want this person in the Rumble so they can go out here and have a great match and a great story and all that kind of stuff because he's the best wrestler. There is no the best wrestler in these 60 people or these 30 people.
Like the closest like we can get some like that even is like just how we like Drew McIntyre, but like
he's not over in that way.
Yeah.
Like
he's not close.
Like everybody respects him because they recognize like for that dude's like one of the best and he's one of the best heavyweight wrestlers in the world. But like they screwed him up. They made him too happy-go-lucky and they screwed it up. It is what it is.
Yeah. So like I said, I think this Royal Rumble was pretty soulless, uncreative. As soon as they put AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura out there as 1 and 2, I was like, fuck you. Like, you turned that feud into kicking people in the dicks. Like, and like the easiest thing you had to do was say, hey, run it back 1 year later, which you did, or, 2 years later, which you did at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, y'all ain't broke down that much. Like, the people that they had in here. And Johnny Knoxville is landing some of the best shots. James, I got you back.
All right, I'm back. I don't know where we left off at, but I'd have to go back to listen to the audio. But audio, I never stopped playing, so it's still recording.
Oh, okay. Cool, man.
I'll chop this.
So, like I said, looking at the list, you got Bad Bunny in there going, eliminate multiple people, like making, like he's fine, let's not get it, it's cool he can do the Canadian Destroyer and stuff like that, but maybe he can eliminate one person by kicking him off the rope or something, but he's throwing dudes over the top and shit like that, and it's like, I wouldn't be doing this, but credibility isn't of concern.
When it's a celebrity, right? Everybody made all those jokes about Jay Leno having Hulk Hogan in a fucking hammerlock or whatever the fuck, but this is perfectly fine. Yes, Bad Bunny could definitely be out here, giving fucking lucha moves to Matt Riddle.
Beating up Sheamus.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I personally don't give a fuck, but 25 years ago, this was such a disaster that this happened. But yeah, Bad Bunny, I was glad he showed up. Wasn't expecting him to be there, and he actually brought some life to this fucking match, as opposed to the real fucking wrestlers. Go figure.
I popped when he came out when I heard the music because I knew it was him right away.
I also was I didn't want to spend it because I thought he was on tour or about to go on tour. Figured he had a bigger fish to fry.
Funniest shit is like Shane McMahon coming back and he's just out striking Matt Riddle.
Was he though?
I mean, I think it was like
he's throwing shitty strikes.
He was throwing the punches and they were like looking like they were coming close to connecting, but they weren't. Like the man was air boxing, like shadow boxing.
Who was worse, him or Ronda?
Yes. Like when Ronda has Bianca in the corner, it's bad.
Real bad.
So hold on. Joe Saba, Lita versus Becky at Elimination Chamber, not WrestleMania. They're doing Lita versus Becky in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, we didn't talk about this, but like, thank God that I think it was Charlotte that eliminated Lita because she was setting up like she was going to do the moonsault, and I was like, no, you're gonna land on your fucking chin. Don't do this.
And they just eliminated her.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, Lita versus Becky, could we get like a less athletic match if we tried?
Those are a lot of rust on some red-headed knees. Yeah.
Boy. So yeah, the Royal Rumble sucked too. Very bad. Like, just look at this list. Like, it's right in front of you. Pull up a cage match.
Oh, and also another part about it is like they have 4 hours to do a 6-match show, and because they're doing fucking commercials and letting Miz and Maurice and Beth Phoenix and Edge go however long they went, probably 4 minutes too fucking long, and like like stuff like that. They get Brock Lesnar in, and like by the time Brock Lesnar gets in, like they're like 5 minutes away from them having to get off fucking air. So like he gets in, everybody has to get the fuck out. So Drew and Brock can basically go like 30 seconds before he throws Drew out. So we didn't even get like the also important mini match when you get to the final 2 or final 3 or whatever else. Nope, couldn't do that. Like Brock just got in and threw everybody the fuck out. So it wasn't even entertaining in that way. Like when Brock was in the Rumble, I want to say it was 2 years ago when he basically, 2 years ago, 2020, when he basically like came in like 10 and basically like wrecked shop for like, and eliminated like 13 people. Like that was entertaining because like he's actually having like these mini matches and like catching people that are like, surviving his German suplex or whatever before he finally throws him out. This is like, it's Drew McIntyre, the person that's probably like the number 3 or 4 single star, male single star in the company, and like he dumped him out like he was trash. All right, whatever, man.
Bad.
Is Drew McIntyre and Andre? Do we know yet?
No, we don't.
They threw him out like somebody that would be in the Andre.
Like he did that Hogan, flick the wrist, throwing him out. Like, we gotta see Brock Lesnar again. We gotta cheer for Brock Lesnar to be the one. Like, come on, man. I have no interest, none. Like, this is so bad. Like, imagine running a wrestling company and doing this. Like, and you have this like roster. Like, and this is what you keep coming to over and over again. How? Because
they have flattened out the roster so much to where like the people that are special and people that have done great things before, like do you even feel like they're stars?
No.
Like we were talking about this, obviously it's a different point of his career, but like that last WrestleMania match that Brock and Roman had, like also on the undercard was that Nakamura and AJ Styles match, and AJ Styles at that point was like a close number 2 on Roman Reigns' ass for like top merch mover in the company. Look what they've done with him since. Like they gave him one more year and then was done with him after that.
Yeah, they've just had him basically protecting this fucking giant for a year.
Right. And like in any other promotion, they would treat him like he's fucking Tanahashi.
Right.
He's a top star that can challenge for a title, anything, and give you a main event title match. And like Roman's second best opponent in his whole entire career is AJ Styles. It's Daniel Bryan, it's AJ Styles, and then it's probably Seth after that. And they haven't wrestled each other since 2016, the first feud they had. And that feud was like Roman's best feud of his career. And it's like, never, no, okay.
Imagine never going back to it.
Right. It's been plenty of time to get back to it. It's weird. Really weird.
But that's your Royal Rumble review. Don't we sound excited?
Yeah. So I'm going to be even more excited for WrestleMania. Let me tell you.
Jesus.
Also, another part about it is same thing, right? So what were the dates for WrestleMania this year? April or March? Let's see. WrestleMania 38 date. April 3rd, right?
Yep.
Rich? Stardom Sumo Halls, 26th, 27th of March. So we're going to, just like how in this show, we're going to throw it through it again and be like, let's compare and contrast. Let's see.
It's going to be bad, man.
Of course it's going to be bad. You'd be like, yeah, man, that was a really cool 4-star match on like, you know, the best match of WrestleMania, a cool 4.25 star match. Like, how many did Stardom have? Oh, 5 in that weekend? Fuck. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, so anyway,
Winter can wreak havoc on your skin. Hey, it's Kayla, and it's not just the weather, but as a new mom, I've seen my skin change in ways that I'm not too happy about. But that's where the Skin Center has you covered. Their most popular treatment is Botox because they're the best at it. They've been ranked a top 10 provider in the nation by Allergan Aesthetics, the makers of Botox. And their best facial is what I got. It's the Hydra Facial. It exfoliates, extracts, and hydrates all at once. So save your skin from these winter blues and DM at the Skin Center MD on Instagram and mention code Kayla to get $100 off your first Botox or filler treatment or any skincare package.
AEW.
Yes,
Beach
AEW.
break last week. Overall, pretty good show. I mean,
I thought it was a great show. I mean, I got 4.5 star ladder match. You know, a what do you call it? A lights out match that was, you know, not a high tier standard of what the typical thing is, but like that's their Hell in a Cell. So like, I thought it was like a 3.5 star match. So it was good enough for me especially after I already got like a classic ladder match on the show in 2 hours. And I thought, you know, I really enjoyed the show. I really did. Also you had the interaction with Wardlow and CM Punk and MJF. So I was with it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good show. Really good.
Yeah, man. We got that opening match. Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes right into it, straight off, no entrances. Cody standing there, Slave Master jacket, ready to go. And him and Sammy Guevara tear the fucking house down. This is the best Cody Rhodes match in ages. Some people, like, in some circles, this might be his best match ever. You look at the cage match, it's his second highest rated match there.
I think it's his best match in AEW.
I thought he was serious in this match. I thought he was wrestling in a way that made sense. I thought there was not a lot of bullshit. I thought Sammy was incredible. Sammy's I've called him the human highlight reel since 2019. And he went and added to it with that cutter, with the fucking flip dives off the ladder, doing what he wants athletically and just being a sicko, as he would say. Does the whole thing where he says he's crazy and all that. But Cody bullied him pretty well.
Yep.
And, this ended like, I think Big Dave gave this one 5 stars. I think that might have been a little much, but that's okay.
Well, anytime you even get like within half a star with Cody, you just got to give it to him. So,
yeah. But yeah, this was one of the best one-on-one ladder matches I've ever seen. Just like felt like they were fighting for something a little bit. I think there's a way to get Sammy's. His first reign didn't go, I think, how a lot of people wanted it to. I liked it, but I was also saying, he needs more than the Good Hand Mafia to fight. So give him that little bit of adversity with Cody, and he gets this belt back. Again, it's like a fresh start, a mulligan of sorts. He's a 2-time champion now. And I thought this was incredible, though. Go out of your way if you haven't seen this to see this match. I wanted the ladder match, and they totally delivered.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see a singles ladder match where like they don't just like basically just cut out the first third of the match where you actually wrestle and then actually have the fight to get to the ladders, where they, most of these matches now where it's like, oh, let's punch each other a couple times and end up out the ring and then grab ladders and then do shit to each other, hit each other with ladders a million times and then go to the finish. It's like, nah, man, like, I was saying this to Imp on his review show, like, you can say what you want to about Cornette, but he's right about this part. Like, when you use weapons, like, you only get a certain amount of strikes out of them before you start to get, like, numb to it. And, like, a lot of these ladder matches, singles ladder matches, they gets overdone where it's like, oh, let's do, like, 30 things on the ladder. It's like, this diminishing returns unless you can be super creative with it. Like, so the fact that they used it very sparingly and mostly focused on trying to have a match that escalated towards using it. And it's kind of the reason why I like that, from last year, the Cameron Grimes and, LA Knight ladder match more than you did. Because I like the structure. And this was very similar to the structure, but was way fucking better. So, yeah, like, y'all ain't gotta kill yourselves 40 times in ladder match to get over it. You could do it like half a dozen times and it'd be just as effective.
There's a WrestleMania 10-esque quality to this match. I thought, and
minus the finish, of course. The finish ain't the same, but yeah.
So like up top, like once I saw Cody was climbing the ladder that wasn't facing towards the camera, I knew he lost, and I was celebrating very hard. And then Sammy knocks him down, knocks him off, raises both belts, and we're smoking that Cody Rhodes pack. Wow.
I thought that he lost once, like, Sammy successfully hit the Swanton over the ladder bridge, because, like, I thought that Cody was going to move, but, like, once he hit with that and then, like, he started climbing, I was like, yeah, he's too weakened. Like, if he fucking Supermans and beat him, like, that'd be like, well, why the fuck do you even, I would, like, been furious. Like, why the fuck do you even do it then if you're gonna no-sell him hitting a fucking Swanton through a ladder? Like, you should, like, in theory, you could argue that, like, Cody shouldn't even make it up to the top. He should just, like, lose halfway from climbing too slow. He's too fucking beat up from, getting destroyed by the freaking Jeff Hardy spot, by the ism.
Yeah.
The ism the ism put him away. So shout out to Jeff Hardy. Do we need to talk about Jeff Hardy?
I think we do.
So,
it's a matter of time before.
So Jeff Hardy, reached out to WWE along with his wife because they thought that he was he was too messed up to do wrestling or whatever else. They wanted to go to rehab. So they released him after he said, no, I'm not taking it. I took your drug test and, like, I'm not going to rehab. Fuck you. They released him and he wanted the word out about the results of his drug test because it came back negative. So the thing is, like, the drug test ain't exactly an alcohol test, but, at the same time, when it's Jeff Hardy, like, we've seen that dude loaded before and get into the ring. And also WWE don't really mind motherfuckers that drink as long as they're not drunk while working the matches. So, he feels really, he's really, like, in that mode of sticking it to them, and they asked him to come back to WWE and sign a contract, and they were going to add him into the WWE Hall of Fame, and he said no because he's not a mark.
Correct. So, Jeff Hardy, not a mark. Hardy brothers, not marks.
Right. And Matt Hardy definitely, don't get me wrong, like, they were marks at some point. All them shits, all the stuff they did to themselves to get themselves over, that's mark behavior. But, yeah, like, Matt has been very vocal on the socials, on the interwebs, saying he wants his,
if y'all can't see what's coming.
He wants his younger brother. So, I think it's just a matter of time before Jeff Hardy ends up being all elite.
Yeah, they're going to draw a shit ton of money with the Bucks and whatever other tag teams. They're going to have
FTR, the Lucha Bros, Jurassic Express, Kings of the Black Throne, or whatever the hell, Malachi Black and not Brody Lee, but Brody King call each other.
One more hot run, I think, and then
because they got all the teams to do it with.
Yep, and all them teams are gonna kill themselves to get the Hardys over.
Much like the Young Bucks did with them in 2017, 18. Yeah.
So
2017.
Pretty happy to see this is the end result of this, and it's like, maybe Jeff got himself fired. Maybe
it's a possibility he did leave in the middle of a house show match.
Yeah, so hopefully,
like, man, fuck this. What am I doing, man? What am I doing?
Right, and
that's my bitch party accent I got. It sounds remarkably a lot like AJ Styles, but whatever.
but yeah,
I do what I can.
Yeah, man. Get ready for Jeff Hardy for sure. I've been following Matt Hardy's shit very closely ever since this shit is going down, and there's a stark difference on like you can tell he wants to kind of pop off, and then he's just playing it real smooth, but letting it's coming. So they were out on a snowy beach. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs with the full mink coat are out there with Shivani. Hobbs then challenged Dante Martin to a match, and Starks did the same for Jay Lethal. That's going to be next Friday on Rampage. Handicap match, Wardlow got rid of 2 jobbers. Fucked them up.
Yes, and Powerbomb one on top of the other and pinned them.
Yep.
Great squash.
So Inner Circle versus Daniel Garcia in 2.0. This is the Santana and Ortiz show. Kind of refused to tag in Chris Jericho. He was trying to get the hot tag, but they only wanted to really tag each other. Jericho eventually jumped down from the apron and took himself out of the match, but then he broke up 2.0's finisher and he hit a Judas effect on Matt Lee, and then Santana used a pile driver for the win, kind of moving that Inner Circle and Jericho thing forward. So maybe this leads to Jericho turning heel again. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think it's him turning heel. I think it's more like those are guys going to be used to try to get to a eventual match with between Jericho and Kingston, and then after that, I think they'll probably shake hands or whatever else, or have some type of respect, or who knows. Like after Jericho beats him, he'll probably just walk away again, just like every time he lost to Danielson or Punk. We'll see.
They aired a video for Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, and they said the world title match is going to be a Texas death match. The man's, Hangman was in the video, like, it's going to be a Texas what? Like, down there.
He said, what? Shit had me out.
So, last time we saw a Texas death match, Lance Archer beat Jon Moxley in that match. So, I think that's a nice stipulation to put on that. And
had to. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe that he had a chance in hell.
Yeah, and these two actually should have a really great match. So, looking forward to that.
Where are they going to be next or this week on Wednesday?
They're going to be in Chicago this week.
Okay, Texas death match in Illinois. All right.
Well, the match isn't this week. It's
the week after.
The week after.
Where's that at? Because we're going back to Texas in a few weeks.
It might be in Dallas.
Okay, because I know they're doing
maybe. I don't know.
In Cedar Park, is that outside of Austin or Dallas? Can't remember.
You know what? I think they're in San Antonio.
That's what it is. They're in San Antonio, but they're also coming back to Cedar Park pretty soon too.
Mm-hmm.
They just open up tickets to go there.
So after that, Jurassic Express and the AHFO were backstage. They're going to defend the titles against Private Party on Rampage. Christian said everyone's coming for the chance, but it was a Christian Matt Hardy doing promo, not really anything too notable there. CM Punk and MJF cut a promo. Punk came out here dressed to fight, had his hands taped up. He basically had the crowd chanting MJF because he still had the Burberry scarf. Said he was sick of talking and he wanted to get to it. But after that, MJF's music played. He came out. He mocked the crowd as if he was going to wrestle Punk before insulting Cleveland a lot. He said he'd give Punk the match in Chicago. And after he beats him, they're going to see the real Punk, the one who loses his smile when he doesn't get his way. And he blames his failures on everyone else like LeBron James. I popped. Punk no-showed Cleveland in 2014 when he left WWE. Like, I had kind of remembered that offhand. And he said, basically, Punk was here tonight to kind of make up for that. He said when MJF beats Punk, he's just going to cry about it on podcasts. Punk responded with probably some of the best, like, babyface lines I've heard of in, you know, a while. Okay, the Texas Death Match will be in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So he said the best thing I did was leave. The best thing he ever did was come back, and then he wanted to match now. And he said these people love me because I get back up and fight. Then MJF brought,
and then he talked about how, like, I'm, you know, like, I don't know if he said the Midwest connection, but he was like, I'm from a city of fighters. I'm from Chicago, just like Cleveland is a city of fighters. It's like, yeah, great babyface stuff. Like, and that's what he's been doing ever since he's been back, is talk about that. Like, I really enjoy it. I'm really glad CM Punk came back to wrestling. I really am.
Yep. MJF then brought out FTR and Wardlow, but Punk got jumped behind from Spears. They beat Punk down, and Spears was whooping him with the chair. FTR and Spears are really leading the assault. Wardlow didn't really want to get involved until MJF then demanded he do so. Wardlow gave CM Punk a nice, safe powerbomb onto the chair. And MJF sat on top of Punk like he was Kenta sitting on top of Naito and said he'd see him in Chicago.
Yeah, so that's two callbacks. That is that, like you mentioned, that one, and also CM Punk sitting cross leg, you know, before the pipe bomb or other promos. So, like, it was playing on both of those.
So the Acclaim called out Mox. Anthony Bones is going to face him for Rampage. They did Julia Hart and Griff Garrison backstage, but Julia Hart was going to talk about the House of Black, but Mark Sterling let her know that she was eligible, is she was drafted to come fight Jade, essentially. So Jade walking around just kind of, you know, picking up opponents.
Smart Mark Sterling had her sign a waiver to waive liability for Wrestle One Eye. And she took it because she's eager to prove herself. And Griff Garrison was like, you sure you want to do this? And she's like, shut up, Griff. And Griff was like, well, fine. Do what you want. You're going to get your ass whooped. I'll be there to help scrape you off the fucking mat. So
marked him. Being a mark.
Yep. Young and dumb, want to prove yourself. All right. Prove them hospital bills.
So we got Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet next. This was quiet. The crowd did not care.
Nope, not at all. They tried hard. I thought that Layla missed a couple of strikes that would have been important to try to get this crowd over, but I thought by the end they got the crowd to make some noise. So that, I guess that's a battle or victory in itself. But yeah, I expected a better match, to be quite honest, because I think highly of those two. But yeah, they had a slightly above average match.
After the match, Statlander ran out to lift the aesthetic. And her slapped on an armbar and Stat ran her off. So after that, we got Malachi Black cutting a promo video. He said that Brody King was the embodiment of conflict and violence. He said that Pac would be humbled and Death Triangle would feel true pain. And then Brody King said, just like death, we are inevitable. After that, we got Britt Baker cutting a promo. She had all her PWI awards, Match of the Year, Most Improved, and like Women's Wrestler of the Year. Came out in all the Pittsburgh clothing, mocking the Cleveland fans, and she talked up her awards. She insulted the Browns. She said she created this division, became the face of AEW. Then she like put Baker Mayfield on a grill over and over and over and over and over and over again, and like she kind of like lost track of her train of thought. And then kind of like, because the crowd, once she started shitting on the Browns, like they started chanting like dog pound chants, and like she kind of lost what she was getting at. And then like it was cool by like the fourth Baker Mayfield joke, but then like she starts talking about like number of incompletions that he had, and I was like, yo, like you should stop at 4, not keep going till you get to 10. So she started out strong, but she lost steam. But, I mean, it was cool to see a full promo in the ring with no interruptions. We got Nyla, and a lot of people thought someone would come out, but I feel like the wheels are in motion. Like Thunder Rosa is facing Mercedes Martinez next week on Rampage, and there's only one place to go from there. So, main event, unsanctioned lights out match. Orange Cassidy defeats Adam Cole. This was, we kind of saw this coming from a mile away once it was unsanctioned. OC would get the win. I didn't like this match.
I don't blame you for not liking the match, because I gotta say, there were lots of moments during this match at the beginning, the first time watching, where I was bored. I thought like everything they're doing is technically correct, right? But it doesn't grab me in the slightest. And then there was a moment where I can't remember what the moment was, but like it turned it around for me. Then they went down the closing stretch. But like working the hand in a lights out match to set up the that's why it didn't grab me, actually. Like the work the hand, I think Adam Cole like slapped it into between the post and trapped it between the post and the stairs, and then kicked the stairs into the post. There was also another spot. Oh yeah, he went to go give him the orange punch. He went to give him the orange punch. And then, like, Cole put up the ring bell, and he punched the ring bell. And that was before they actually went to the posts and the ring steps. But, like, it set up towards a spot where Orange Cassidy, after run-ins, finally gets a shot to hit him with the orange punch, and he hits it. And then he, like, grabs his hand and does the whole, like, sell because I'm in so much pain that I can't make the cover immediately, and it leads to a kick out. And I was like, I normally love that spot where someone has an injury and then like they do a move on the injury because they're so desperate to win, and then like they can't make the cover, so it's a near fall. But it's a hand. It's not ribs. It's not a knee. It's a hand. If you were in combat fighting and you stopped fighting because your fucking hand was broken, you wouldn't survive in the sport. Everybody fights with broken hands and wrists in combat sports. Everyone does. Get the fuck out of here. Selling it like you're dying. Just cover them while grabbing your hand.
I didn't really feel like, like I didn't really feel like it was physical enough. I didn't feel like there was urgency really to this match. Like they were just kind of doing a match, going through stuff.
I don't disagree.
And I just thought, Cole's offense looked bad. I thought the punches they were throwing at each other kind of looked not great. I didn't like the finish.
You didn't like someone hugging him off the fucking and kamikazing off of the top of the tunnel through the ramp? You didn't like that?
I didn't mind I didn't mind the hug part. It's when Cole started like gyrating and all that shit. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He said you're supposed to suspend disbelief that once he's getting lightly hugged around the bicep and triceps, that Adam Cole is now handcuffed, and he literally put his hands together like if he was zip tied together, and he couldn't move. And then they look down at the floor, and he looks at the floor like, "No, don't do it." It's like, if that actually happened in real life, you wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, he's going to throw me to the floor along with him." You'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you looking at?"
Right. So then they fall, and it's actually a pretty sick looking bump that they take, and Cassidy gets the pin there. But I thought this was a letdown.
I laughed when Bryce Remsburg damn near fell through the thing trying to count the pin. I laughed. I was like, this goofy ass match. You take your 3.5 star, your what do you call it? Your replacement level hardcore death match rating. Get the fuck out my face. That's how it was with it. It's like, here, get out of here.
Like they're selling the name of the lights out match here. Like,
you know what that was like? It was like that Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown last year that I gave 3.5 stars. Like, it's Hell in a Cell. It's Rey Mysterio. It's Roman Reigns. 3.5 stars on TV for Hell in a Cell. Okay, here, take it and get out of here, man.
Yeah. Danhausen was under the ring. Now, I know nothing
that part
about
too.
Danhausen, but I saw this guy under the ring, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
It had nothing to do with anything other than to say he's all elite.
Now, James, tell me about, like I said, I know nothing about this guy. Just whenever I see his face, I'm like, I hate this person.
He's a meme comedy guy. I don't know how good of a wrestler he is. Like, I was on the same boat as y'all were until like I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I saw a video of him like somebody had him up in the air like in a choke, Like he's at the apex of a chokeslam, and when he was at the top, he escaped by hitting somebody with a fucking judo chop on the top of the head, and I fucking howled. Now, ever since then, I was like, you know what? That's fucking funny. So I literally 180'd off of one stupid ass comedy spot, and that's all it was. Like, if he comes out here and slings this shit up, I will turn right back on him. I'm that fickle when it comes to this person I don't know. But like, he's sharp with it. He's funny. He's been a hustler and figured out how to make a lot of money off his likeness and with the goofiness of the Van Housen thing, where he's basically like, he's almost like he's basically a villain, but in almost like portrays himself almost like a comedy vampire that's not actually a vampire. Like, he talks about how he's old. He talks with this like Transylvanian accent, and like, he's really cool with a lot of all the guys that on the indies over the years. Obviously, because he probably worked Shikara, and I know they definitely worked Ring of Honor. So like, somebody that everybody knows, somebody that is a hustler making a lot of money, is really in the ethos of like what AEW was and started out, where it was like, we are, the American wrestlers that were the guys just from New Japan in like major indie professional wrestling. That was the heart of AEW. So like, it makes sense for him to be in AEW. And like, I think a lot of people have concerns, but like, I think he's going to be so low stakes as a comedy guy that's going to be in BTE and that kind of stuff, where it's like, I think he'll get over to an extent, but like, I mean, he'll just be like a Orange Cassidy type or probably someone that you beat even more than Orange Cassidy. So like, I don't think it'll be something that serious. I don't think he's as good as wrestler Orange Cassidy. So I don't think you have to worry about that. Like, he'll be somebody that just like, you send out there to do funny skits with and get like the face of like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, oh, that sort of thing, and get sight gags, and that'll be it. Like, I don't think he's gonna be like, I don't think he's gonna be having matches on pay-per-views.
He's not gonna have a lights out match at some point.
I don't believe so. No.
Britt's the real hardcore one in the house. With her and Cole, she's up 1-0 in lights out matches.
Yeah, she's up on lights out matches. Well, no, they both lost.
No, I'm saying like who actually like had a great match.
Oh, and lights out. Oh, I mean, if we judged the Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa match like we judge women's lights or men's lights out matches, I don't think it would be as favorable. I think it's a lot of like shock. Like, oh my god, they're so violent, they're women.
I haven't watched it since, but
I watched the match the first time and I was like, it's very good. Like, when people were like, it's the match of the year, I'm like, dude, you're out of here.
It's number 9 on the Voice of Wrestling match of the year countdown list.
I have never rewatched that match, but I can remember, but I can tell you when I turned off on, or when I turned on it, was when that ladder didn't come within a foot of Britt's face, and then next thing I know, she has a fucking bloody face. I was like, oh, okay. All right. You already have a bloody shirt, you're going to have another one. And sure enough, another bloody shirt. So like, match was great. There were some really cool spots in it. But like, I watched that match the whole time and I was like, Britt is being carried by Thunder Rosa. Like, Thunder Rosa deserves every bit of credit for this match. Like, Britt was just there along for the ride and she played it. Cool. If I think a rewatch, I don't know. Like, we might have to rewatch it. You might have to do a rewatch this weekend or something on it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since, and I had COVID when I watched it, so I don't really have a great memory of it in detail. But I loved it. So yes, like someone in the chat just said, like, Britt Sheeta for the match at the Cody Dome is still Britt's best match in my opinion, and like for my speed, I'd agree. Yeah, like, that match, I thought, like, because I'm not really much of I'm over fucking death matches and blood everywhere and shit or whatever else. Like, if you're gonna get blood, get it a hard way on accident. Like, I don't want to see you come out here and hit someone with a fucking, or hit somebody across the forehead with an elbow or forearm. Like, get it from wrestling so hard that someone gets nicked or whatever else. Like, how Mayu and Julia just went, like, oh, I accidentally, like, landed on your head with a moonsault and then your chin busted open. Okay. At the very end of the match. Okay. But yeah. So, I really did like Sheeta and Britt from Georgia. Really did. So Rampage, I thought Rampage was awesome. Like, Rampage's been on a roll like the last 2 months, I'd say. John Moxley and Anthony Bowens opened up another solid match for Cody Quinn Hall. Nah, man, that's QT's gym, bro. But let's see, John Moxley and Anthony Bowens, another solid TV outing for Anthony Bowens. I will go ahead and start the push the acclaimed agenda for the rest of this year. Like they're just awesome, and Mox looked great in this match, and I enjoyed this.
Anthony Bowens is very good. Anthony Bowens is now on my list with like Trent and Kazarian and Bobby Fish and probably John Silver and Bald from FTR, where it's like, yeah, in a tag team, one of the tag team members in the singles, they're gonna have a really good match and get their ass beat to a star, and I'm perfectly fine with it because I know what they can do. And that's where I am with Bowens and that rest of the people I named. Really enjoy him. Really enjoy watching him.
FTR.
He's proved it for months now at this point.
Yeah, FTR took on Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson, and this ruled.
They were
FTR against lower ranked teams is always amazing, especially when they're on dark. They just do so many like things to kind of pop you and stuff like that. But this one was a little different because both Lee and Brock were displaying their different talents against them. Like Lee's, great with the athletic stuff. Like Brock is, he was kind of a great
dad.
Traditional. Yeah. He's just like his dad. He's like a traditional wrestler, but like he, I would say Arn was a better puncher and kicker than Brock Anderson is, but like, he's a nice, big, strong guy that is going to work hard. So I think this was the best he's looked and the most like comfortable that he's looked, rather than looking like some type of cosplay rookie debuting. It seemed like he actually got his feet wet here, and FTR was awesome in this match.
Yeah, they were. Both of these first two matches of Rampage, I stopped just short of giving it 3.5. I gave both of them 3.25. I really enjoyed both of those matches. They went short too. So,
Jade and Julia Hart, for the time it went, it was cool. I liked Jade basically finishing her off. Julia Hart's not anyone necessarily that's pushed or anything, but getting Jade on the show again, getting her another win, and keeping her strong.
Yep.
Besides that, we had the AEW Tag Team Championship, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against Private Party, and they went off and had a nice little match here in the main event. And I think what Private Party has, they've been heels for about a year now, so I think when they turn back babyface, they're going to have a better idea how it all works. And I think I would anticipate them even being better than they were last time when they were babyfaces. This was all action right at the beginning. Thought it was going to be a quick title change. It was not, but they went into lots of cool action all throughout this match. Too much to kind of name, but
there was key things I remember. So I think they jumped at the bell, and then immediately, like, Isaiah Cassidy ends up hitting Luchasaurus with a tornado off the over the ropes. And then there was they hit the gin juice is kind of, after that, they hit the gin and juice, and Jungle Boy kicked. And then by the end, in the middle, or towards like the start of the second act of the match, like they actually hit a gin and juice, and Jungle Boy turned it into a fucking Canadian destroyer. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was fucking awesome. Then, by the end, they get Isaiah Cassidy, they get Mark Quinn in the ring, and like Luchasaurus basically hits him with I think they call it a thoracic express, and like basically it's almost like a flip alley-oop into a sit-out power bomb for Jungle Boy. So, and Jungle Boy ended up picking up the win. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really cool. I saw the cage match where I was shot. I was like, y'all think this is a below 3.5 star match? I gave it 3 3/4. But I was like, y'all thought this was like some 3 1/4 match? Nah, man, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't checked the cage match on it yet, but they
it's like
set
a
up
6.69 or something like that. It's like, what?
They set up the Ass Boys to run in. Ass Boys jumped on
immediately.
Yeah. Like they heard one note and it was on Jungle Boy's ass, and so it was like, oh, wow, and I got to turn the music off immediately. But yeah, they've got their own kind of look of being the guns of this generation, and yeah, you know, they'll get their shot next and probably lose.
Oh, they're definitely losing. But yeah, gotta say, like, really, really happy to see the match with Private Party. Like, that's the best match they've had since they turned heel. Like, you know, Andrade shows up and look at him. Gotta get back to what y'all was doing best. Even if y'all are bad guys, like the generic heel shit they were doing was just like, that shit sapped the life out of them for a while. So, I was glad they were able to get this shot and kind of show the world like what they were doing before Matt Hardy got a hold of them.
Yeah, man. So, I guess there's only one thing left to do, James. It's time to hit the music.
All right, man. So I gotta say, I don't think I've been this surprised by a Stardom pay-per-view since the first night of the Grand Prix, when they basically went out there and they said, hey, we're just going to basically be like the G1 on pay-per-view. So this show had tons of good every match was good. All but one match was very good. And then like there were like 5 matches on here that like put in a notebook. Just put or not notebook. I know people have different things, but like high 3s and 4s, even a 4.5 star match on this thing. A 4.5 star match is damn near 4 3/4 for me. I was really impressed. I was really impressed by Thekla. I was really impressed by Mirai being in that spot, having to go that long after that match that they had to follow. So yeah, what were your general thoughts of watching the show today, Rich?
So I had it, playing while I was working all day, and it was just like every time I was looking up, it was just like lightning fast action everywhere. People getting kicked, people working hard, and I enjoyed this whole show pretty much. There wasn't
top
like
a bottom, basically.
Yeah, like there wasn't a match that I was like, hey man, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, man, I like. Yeah. You look at it and it's just like those top 3 matches all like delivered. Both tag matches, blazers. Yep. You do a title change and, they kind of had some fun during the Mina and Thekla match. And then the high schooler and the former teacher, who is like a year into her career, having a better match than the women's title match at the Royal Rumble. So like, I'll take it.
Yeah, like you can't even argue with it. It just was. Yeah. So, and then also the part where like the prominence thing and what that could mean in like what they teased in the skit thing with Rossi and Kamatani is like, this was a B show, and like they gave you killer matches all up and down the card. They gave you like quite possibly what we look back on is like the beginning of like the hottest thing in Joshi. And this was a B show. Like I was saying, it was the anniversary show. They left the anniversary show for Stardom, but like you look at those challengers, like Unagi, Sayaka, and Mirai as red and white belt challengers are not threats. You don't think there's going to be title changes. These are brand new champions in their first defenses. Nah, but I'll be damned. Like they still had matches that were like as good as you could imagine them being for the spots they were put in. So let's start from the beginning. Future Stardom Championship match. Champion Hanan versus Lady C. As you mentioned, it is high school 17-year-old, a real JK fighter, really in high school fighting, not someone 25 portraying someone that's 17 because their bookers are doing the stereotypical nonsense versus Lady C.
Shouts out to Ice Age and Velge Braca pretty much pointed this out to me. He was like, yes, a 16-year-old teenager and a 26-year-old very awkward rookie who has been wrestling only for a year, probably better than 85% of the women's Royal Rumble. It's amazing how low the bar is in the West. And then Ice Age says, it turns out that a multi-million-dollar performance center and access to the best available athletes to pro wrestling can be beaten by finding a random family full of judokas and asking if their kids want to train for pro wrestling and asking a random home economics teacher if she wanted to be Giant Baba.
Yeah.
I popped when they said that Giant Baba thing.
So she whenever she won her first match, so that's like November-ish, I think. She won her first match against Waka, and she ends up pulling out the giant backbreaker from Baba, and she started doing the headshots like Baba. So the Babaism just got added recently, and it got her some wins, and now she's in the unit. So Lady C, and I think they mentioned it in the thing, like Lady C was a home ec teacher, and then like she started going to like those workshops we used to see like Lil Hannah, like Hannah Kimura's Mini Me. She would like you would see this super tall woman in these pictures, like, and turns out, and she was wearing the Tam stars color shirt, and it turns out like that's Lady C. Like she got into this shit because she was inspired by watching Tam. Like that's fast forward, and that's where we are now. But so like Queen's Quest, half of them now at this point, or 40% of them now is like Tam influenced. So anyway. They had a good match back and forth. Hannon was ahead, and then I almost called her Lady Baba.
Lady B.
Yeah, Lady B. So then C ended up hitting a gruesome looking backbreaker on her, and then she ends up going for her giant backbreaker. Hannah gets out of it and rolls through, ends up getting a arm bar. Lady C fights out by like trying to get on top to get her into a pin situation. And then there's a choke slam from Lady C, and then breaks the count, and ultimately Hannah ends up winning with her what is her move? Oh, she goes for a famouser. She botches the famouser. She goes for it again and hits it that time. And then I think she gets her up with her. I don't remember what she hit her with. Actually, I have the finishes right here, so maybe I should just look at those instead of trying to remember off the top of my head. Maybe that's what I should do as a aspiring professional broadcaster, right? So Hannah ends up winning with a bridging. Yes, her new finish, the bridging backdrop suplex. I think she calls it a backdrop driver. Yeah, that's how she won the belt at Sumo Hall, and that's what she used against Lady C.
So Hannah gets the victory, then promptly goes to commentary afterward.
Yes, I think one match after this. Yeah, so after that match, Kogo comes out and asks for a match, so it will be a title match. So it will be Stars versus Stars for the future title. I guess in the next available pay-per-view, probably.
Let's get it.
So next match, Utami.
Before that.
Oh, that's right. Totally forgot. So before that, normally in this spot, after the first match of recent pay-per-views, they show you the next venue that they're going to do their show at. Well, they already have the shows already out until those two Sumo Halls back to back. So there's really no to tell you other than reinforce it. Like, oh yeah, there's going to be pay-per-view. In February, I forgot where it is, but it's like late February, and then also those two shows. So next thing you know, the lights come down. You're like, all right, so what's it going to be? What's this announcement? Is it going to be, the person that we thought it was going to be, the mystery person? No. Out comes Risa Sera. Out comes Suzu Suzuki. Out comes Akane Fujita. Out comes the other two that I don't know. Prominence. Two of the top 5 from Ice Ribbon that recently left the company at the end of last year that we talked about a little bit on the show. They left to become a hardcore deathmatch faction, and they had struck a deal with Wrestle Universe to have their shows broadcast on Wrestle Universe along with Noah and DDT and Tokyo Joshi Pro. I believe they still have that, but they showed up here because you have that whole thing with Julia. So they come out to the ring. Risa Sera comes out and announces themselves and says, we're here for one reason and one reason only, more or less. Julia, bring your punk ass down to the stage. Julia walks out. She looks
snakeskin pants.
Snakeskin pants because she is a snake. She comes in and she makes little jokes about, I thought y'all were happy with wrestling, which is the tagline for Ice Ribbon, be happy with pro wrestling. So what are y'all doing here? Suzu gets the mic and
she basically looks at her and says, you know why I'm here.
And she smiles and then she slaps the piss out of Julia. And then she says, like, you know, like you left us in tatters and the shit was bad. And you have no idea the kind of trouble you cause all of us. And you see like the wells of tears forming in her eye, like she's about to cry. And you can see the look on Julia's face, like, damn, I didn't realize I hurt you this much. And next thing you know, Julia says something slick, and
like
Risa grabs the mic, or just shoves Julia to the ground and says, like, all right, well, like, we're gonna see you at Sumo Hall at the end of March. And Julia was threatened about that, and then she tried to attack. And you know, it's 5-on-1, and this is a death match unit. So they grabbed her. They grabbed her by the arms, and she was held hostage. And Suzu, with all that hurting in her heart, she reaches to her waistband and produces a hammer. She puts the hammer in the sky, and she goes to try to swing that shit at a helpless Julia. And at the last second, Tekla grabs her, or Tekla, sorry, JD. Tekla grabs her and stops her, and they start fighting. So it's DDM in the ring, and it's Prominence, and they start scrapping it out. Suzu and Julia immediately start grabbing each other. They start fighting each other, and they basically fight out to the promo area backstage, away from the crowd, and the crowd claps. This is going to be the hottest thing in Joshi for a long time, and probably all the way through March until they finally figure out whatever match is going to be.
Suzu still on stage with the hammer like Gallagher.
Yes. So for those
Suzu better with the hardware than Show, Crudler says.
Yeah. She actually uses it, and also light tubes and all types of crazy shit. So the thing with I can't really speak much for the other two that I don't know, like Miyagi, don't know. The other one I don't know, but so I saw the 15th anniversary show for Ice Ribbon last year. That didn't have the good attendance, but third from the top was Akane Fujita, and she was with Tekla, and they had a very good physical match. And then obviously like Suzu's one of the better Joshi in on the scene. Same for Risa Sera. So Suzu was the champion, became champion in early 2020, and was probably going to have a title defense against Julia, but Julia left in the middle of the night like the Baltimore Colts out of the premises. So I'm sure when she meant that, she was like, we were supposed to do all this shit together. You lucky left me hanging to dry. Julia
thought she wasn't never going to see them again. Went to a new school, transferred, all that.
Yeah.
Nah,
so
we here.
Right.
You ain't getting away from us. We gonna pull you down. Crabs in a bucket.
Oh my God. So, the thing for me is seeing that and seeing how, Julia has such a, contentious relationship with Ice Ribbon since she left, obviously, because she left and she may or may not have still been under contract. And, really, really upset.
Hey, check the comments and read the last comment, James.
It all got blocked out, so because it has all stars, so I can asterisk.
Oh, okay.
Asterisk. So like, send it to
me. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
So anyway, yeah, like, so she has been sniping at Ice Ribbon, like, on like Shoe Pro and any media that she has to talk about it. So, yeah, the robber saved Joshi.
Julia, the Robert Ursay of Joshi. That's great.
Okay, the art model of Joshi. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So, I forgot where our point was about Ice Ribbon. So Julia's been saying stuff back and forth, and then like even Tsukasa Fujimoto was like, "You left. Why are you still talking about us?" Or whatever else. And obviously, like, a lot of people in the scene, especially wrestling fans that like aren't on the ground and are not like domestic fans, like they still have this outdated sense of loyalty as far as like how it used to be in like, you know, the 80s and the 90s when it came to promotions, where it's like you don't leave, you stay with, you know, who trained you, more or less. Like, and if you do, it's taboo or whatever else. Or like, and then from Julia's perspective, it was like, she said, like, I wanted to do this full time. Like, in a lot of wrestlers outside of Stardom, this is like, they do this as like weekend warriors. Like, they're not actually like doing this and making full time money to do it. Like, so, Julia at that point in time, like, she was a upper mid carder in Ice Ribbon. She wasn't a top star. Like, she was somebody that they would send out for Mayuki to defend it against a fucking smoker. Like, but anyway, like, she left, and she may have still been on a contract. So there were a lot of bad feelings back and forth between them. So like, it's actually like somewhat realistic and plausible that like these people are pissed at each other. But, you know, ultimately, like, they're there for Julia, because Julia became a gigantic superstar in that scene. Well, she joined Stardom and they put the rocket ship to her. She showed and proved. So like, from that perspective, like, now that like Ice Ribbon has been in tatters, like, you know, like, they also lost Maya Yuki. She's gone freelance. You have Prominence who all left to go freelance, start their own shit. Like, now, you look at their top stars that are full-time, the only two left are Sakushi and Tsukasa. And it's like, now Tekla, who was their top gaijin, who was was a champion there, like, she left, and now she's in Donna Del Mondo. It's like, everybody's like, has came to Julia now. It's like, Julia's up by 5,000. It's 5,000-0, Julia versus Ice Ribbon right now. So,
Julia won.
I say that once Tekla showed up. Now she's like laughing and running backwards.
This is like some Bob Stoops, you know, run the scoreboard up.
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
throwing.
Like,
what are we doing in the fourth?
The computer scores, boy. Yeah. It's real bad. And you know, like, we talked about it, like, Ice Ribbon's their future, like, is really dangerous. Like, it could go bad. Like, obviously, you know, they'll move people up, but like, their undercards, aside from like two people, from what I saw from their 15th anniversary, that's all they got right now. And like, obviously, you know, they're freelancing, but you know how the freelancer works. Like, freelancers, when they show up to Stardom, they tend to like eventually
stay. Yeah.
Over time, because they're getting paid more money than they ever made before, typically. So, I don't know what this means, but I'm really interested. Like, it would be really cool. My personal dream would be for Prominence to show up. They're their own faction. You have Suzu and Risa as top stars in the faction, obviously. You have a good number 2 in Fujita. You have those other 2, you can figure out what they're going to do with it as far as being pin eaters or whatever else. And then, like, you do your Donna Del Mondo versus Prominence feud throughout like 2021. And like, you still have Prominence have their independence so they can do their produce shows, they can do that death match shit way the fuck over there away from Stardom. Leave it over there. Go over there. You got your TV deal with Wrestle Universe, go do that. And then when it's time for big shows or whatever else, bring your asses here and help fresh up the card and even add to the depth where like on weekends you don't have everybody wrestling. You don't even need to wrestle 100 dates except for like the young girls at the bottom of the card. You can have Tam Nakano only have to wrestle like 80 shows. Mai only have to wrestle 80 shows. Shuri only have to wrestle 80 shows as opposed to 102. Or, you know, like it would keep them fresher.
Right.
And also give you the opportunity to run more shows if you so choose. So, yeah. And lower some of the injury risk because they wrestle so damn hard. So, like, I think that, like, it's going to be really interesting because, like, Suzu's really fucking good, and so is Sarah. Yeah, so that was that angle. So,
tag team match: Hideo Tai, Momo, and Starlight Kid. They defeat Azumi and Utami, who came out looking like Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
You mentioned that.
I was dying laughing when I saw them. Momo and Starlight, just perfect evil shitheads. Yeah. And like this match was, it was blazing speed, million miles an hour. I fucking love this match.
Yes, but they also told a great story. So, as you mentioned,
like Momo needs to be in lights out matches with both Azumi and Utami. And
well, this match originally was supposed to be Utami versus Momo, or maybe that was a match they went with once they thought Azumi, they feared that she had broke her nose once, you know, Momo kicked the shit out of her with the punt kick. And that's the beginning of the match. Like, Queen's Quest jumps Oedo Tai at the beginning of the bell. They end up with Azumi and Momo in the ring. Momo gets the advantage and she goes and she smirks and she's like, I'm just going to punt kick her face off again. And Azumi gets out the way. She kicks Momo's leg from out of her leg. She ends up on her hands and knees, and she ends up punt kicking the shit out of Momo. Utami gets in. Utami stomps the shit out of Momo. Momo was able to thwart her with a head kick. Gets in Kid. Kid and Azumi start. It's like Kid and Utami start doing stuff. Azumi gets in. Kid ends up thwarting them, ends up somehow getting like a some lucha move to turn the tables, both of them. It ends up going back and forth. Ends up with getting a really good exchange between Momo and Utami. And then you end up finishing off where the heels end up getting involved after a couple ref bumps. Oedo Tai runs wild for a while, hit all their finishers on Azumi, and she gets a kick out, and then Kid takes Azumi, or with the help of Momo, they end up actually in like a pendulum drop thing that looked fucking awesome, and then Momo ends up putting Azumi up on the top rope, and then Kid finishes Azumi with a Spanish fly. It was a great match, blazing speed. I would compare this with the this Wrestle Kingdom match. And like, whereas like, I would give this 4 stars if it just went a little bit longer. Like but like, if someone gave it 4, I wouldn't blame them at all, because this match was blazing.
Yeah, loved it, and like, it just made you want to see Azumi beat their asses, like eventually, like, and Momo thinks everything's a game, and like, she is kicking, like, this is the best Momo I've seen. Like, this is
personality wise.
Yeah, like, you know, personality-wise, and it feels like in the ring, like, she's just, like, on another level right now.
Well, you know, the thing is, Rich, like, it was Momo and Azumi, and then, like, she basically traded in Azumi for the other Azumi. Like, right. So it's like, she's just evil now. Like, but it's the same way. Like, I got the same quality of, like, tag team partner. Like, Kid, like, Momo and Kid need to be tag team champs by at some point this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're not gonna belt up either one of them and give them a red or white belt, either one of them, like, they should be tag champs at some point this year, because they clearly good enough to do it. So you
basically trying to say Momo is Bobby Fish and bouncing between Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong?
No, I wasn't saying that. Do you mean O'Reilly bounce between Roderick Strong? Okay. I was to say, you said Bobby Fish. I thought you hated Bobby Fish.
My fault. My fault.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, pretty much. Obviously, I mean, we're really talking about like two different Roderick Strongs, and not no Bobby. There ain't no Bobby Fish. Ain't no Bobby Fish's equation. But yeah. Like, you can say it's more like Seth with the Shield members. I think that's a fair comparison. So they had a killer match, and I would love for them to have another rematch at some point. Like you mentioned, like those two matches that like they already did the Azumi match, but like the Utami match needs to happen at some point, and maybe that's the next pay-per-view. But like that's gonna be killer when they do that too. Like Azumi should be set up to like become a Red Belt title challenger. It'll probably be like, you know, Cinderella time, but can't wait for it. Next match after that, is for the vacant SWA title. It is Mina versus Tekla, and this whole feud is basically around these two have a curiosity and a interest in an attraction to each other, and they're going to sell it in the ring. And it starts out and it's so playful, and they're basically playing tag with each other, and then they eventually get in the ring and they start like throwing.
Bro, Tekla starts this match on the top rope, like she's from another planet or something.
She has almost too much charisma. Like she's super charismatic, but she's at the same time she's also weird as fuck.
Right.
So like, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like it is. And I feel like this is the best way she's channeled it in Stardom so far, and like so that means she's getting better doing it. But like they're gonna like the domestic crowd is going to love her as a new top gaijin. Like I think they're going to take to her very kindly. Like, obviously they already have with, you know, her previous history in Ice Ribbon and wherever else. Like, and that's another thing. Like when Prominence showed up, like once Risa like walked out where they could see the blue hair, everyone, you can hear people gasping. They're like, what the fuck are they doing here?
Who are these niggas?
Right. So Tekla and Mina, like they start doing the playful thing where they're teasing each other, and then eventually they get in the ring and they start showing off that high speed stuff that they can do with each other, and then they start throwing elbows into each other's chest plates, and then Tekla, she basically backs Mina up into the ropes. She starts throwing like these palm strike chops to her chest, starts blistering her Mina's chest up. Mina fights back.
She fucking her up.
Yeah, she was. Her whole chest was just lit up and red and blistered open. It looked like remember when Daniel Bryan first came back and he started getting chopped, and you're like, yo, his anemic ass is getting just looking like ground beef his chest. Same thing with Mina. So they go back and forth, and it's really good. It's really good. I would have given this 3.5 stars if they not like, did the goofy stuff at the beginning. But like, I mean, it's at least a 3.25. I really enjoyed this, and I thought this was one of Mina's best singles matches. And Tekla, like, just like when we first, I figured that she was going to win this belt. We all figured this, and like, I think that she can do some damage wrestling the mid card of Stardom, because like that's what she'll be put up with defending this belt. I feel like she's gonna have it for a while, and she's gonna improve her value. Like being on these undercards pay-per-views, like being, in the third match and the fourth match or whatever else in the mid card. Like I think she's gonna have a lot of really like middle 3, high 3 matches.
Yeah, this wasn't on a preview show. We pretty much essentially said Tekla will win. She would get the chance to kind of define herself with this belt in the promotion. Not worried about Mina at all. She's like, she's always got something going on. Yeah.
Next match after that, you ended up getting the tag team titles defended. Hazuki and Kaguma versus Mike and Himeka. So in the final of the 10 million yen pay-per-view, 10 million yen trios final, it was Mahime Poi versus the top 3 stars, Hazuki, Kaguma, and Mayu. So they've already had a match where DDM won. So this is more or less a rematch with, 2/3 of it. So as they talked about, like a lot of this match at the beginning to start out was Kaguma trying to convince Micah to do the bearism. The match starts and Micah is actually like, she's like, I got something for you, sucker. Like you're so keen on getting people into the bearism. How about I get you into the bearism and then I take advantage of it? So like Micah starts it up and gets Kaguma into it. Himeka's on the apron. She's into it. Micah goes by Hazuki, who's on her corner in the apron.
No
trying
parts.
to get Hazuki into it. Hazuki's like, can y'all fucking fight already? I want to do this stupid shit. I want to fight.
What is this fuck shit?
Yeah, so they start goofing up. So then they get into it with wrestling really fast. And it was great all throughout. Like it was I mean, it's basically like more or less the equal of the previous tag match. It's just great wrestling. There's cool spots all throughout it. There's a spot in there where Hazuki hits the ropes and has Kaguma in between Kaguma's in between Hazuki and Himeka, and Kaguma basically like catapults Hazuki into the air, and she is basically like a code breaker off of that. That was really cool. There's also a spot where they get Himeka up, or they had knocked Micah out on the floor. Kaguma and Hazuki get up to the top rope to basically hit like a diving double move onto Himeka. Micah makes a save while they're up on the ropes, and then by that time she's fighting both of those two, she gets them and grabs them for a double second rope superplex, and then Himeka gets up, comes to, and they basically hit a Tower of Doom spot where one person superplexing two people, and it was fucking awesome. From that point, because the legal people were Kaguma and Himeka. Himeka then wears out Kaguma with lariats. His comes off the rope and hits her with one that turns Kaguma inside out. She goes and then grab Kaguma to cover her, and then Kaguma basically hit like gotcha inside cradle, small package, 1, 2, 3, caught her slipping. And Himeka kicked at 3.1, got up and grabbed Barb the ref and put him into the corner, and then stomped his ass out and was furious, and then argued with him outside the ring, and then she stormed off. I thought it was a great finish.
The finish fooled me initially. I thought it went the other way, but then like when they got up, I was like, oh,
okay.
So Micah and Himeka continuing to prove what the answer to the question, like, what if the Undertaker and Kane were good?
I mean, Himeka is better than Kane, so I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm not even going to go there with you. But yeah, like this was an excellent match of
exactly.
speed. Sorry,
I said I like how you know exactly who I pegged to be who, because like Micah, I have her as Undertaker,
right?
And
Stoic wears black a lot, and then the other one was wearing black and red and is bigger. Yeah. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna say like this was a perfect like storytelling thing of like bigger or of a smaller but more experienced, more skilled, and quicker and faster versus just pure power and strength. And like they displayed both of it in size advantage. Like there was a great tag team between two giants versus two quicks. Awesome. I ended up going. I thought about giving this 4 stars. I ended up going 3 3/4.
I think I'm the same on that.
Yeah. So, next match after that, white belt match, Saya Kamatani versus Unagi. In 18 minutes, I gave this 3 3/4.
Yes, sir.
It succeeded in every facet that you can imagine. The only thing that and this also be the semi-main event. My thing for the semi-main event is like, come up with your own matches, because like this is very similar to the layout for the white belt match that Unagi had with Tam, but at least Unagi got herself a match she can go to when need be. She has a template to work on. So, because look, a lot of these wrestlers that are of the skill level or worse than Unagi, or even a little bit better than Unagi, ain't got a template for a championship match. They ain't even got one to even come up with to think of. But she was using her Blade Runners to then set up the Stretch Plum, which is very similar to what happened with Tam. And I gotta say, like, I thought, while I wasn't crazy about the first half of this match, I thought the closing stretch was sensational.
Bro, the crowd was going crazy at the end of this shit. Like, the Eel came to play, showed up with the fire gear on, like kind of like the red tint of what she normally wears.
I know outside of Shuri, nobody comes up with new gear as often as her. Like, from last year alone, or since she started in Stardom, she has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different gears since she started in Stardom. And it's been like it's been like 13 months. Like, she had 2 different gears for the Grand Prix. She had a new gear for her white belt match in November against Tam, and she had new gear here. Like, and all of them are dope. Like, they're getting progressively better too. So yeah, like she keeps this up, she's gonna end up being nominated for best dress. Yep. All she needs now is like a jacket or a robe to tie it all together. Because the one she had before doesn't really match where she's doing now with her gear. But once it catches up, she'll definitely be on this list. She gets herself a robe or a jacket or whatever. Yeah.
I like both of these wrestlers, so like these are 2 of my hand-picked ones. So Saya Kamatani gets her first title defense. Very happy to see that. She fucking destroyed her with that Phoenix Splash at the end, though.
We're getting to it. So I thought some of the striking at the beginning was kind of weak, but by the time they got to the closing stretch, this was fan-fucking-tastic, this closing stretch. Kamatani has her beat. She goes to the top rope for his Phoenix Splash. Unagi stops her and pulls her off the ropes and hits an inverted power slam. I believe it's called a Dominator for a 2 count. Unagi goes to the top rope, hits her frog splash finish for the win. Or sorry, for the near fall. Unagi gets Unagi gets Kamatani up and goes for her double underhook made in Japan. Kamatani spins out to escape and then hits a flash Rana. Unagi kicks at 2.9 and Kamatani follows up with a spinning heel kick. Kamatani gets up Unagi for a Star Crusher. Unagi was playing possum and immediately escapes and gets Kamatani up for her modified made in Japan finish. Kamatani wiggles down, hits an inside cradle, and inside cradles them in one fluid motion into position to where she can get her up for the Star Crusher and then drops her with it for another great near fall. And then Kamatani goes to top rope and hits a brutal spinning splash where she, like, accidentally comes down shin first on Unagi, for the win. Like, I don't know if it's because, like, sometimes when Kamatani doesn't, like, hit it flush, like, she tends to, like, under rotate, or Unagi was too close compared to how she normally comes out, but like she came down shins first on Unagi and fucking murdered her, and it wasn't on purpose at all, but she fucking murdered her, and it looked fucking brutal, and it added to the match for me because I was like, God damn, she killed her. But yeah, like I said, like this is the second best match of Unagi's career. It went 18 minutes. Like if you had told me 13 months ago that she could be out here having 3 3/4 star matches and back-to-back title challenges, I'd have told you ain't no fucking way. Like she's progressed that much. Like she still has weird. She really has some. She still has some weird movement problems or whatever else. Like she gets happy feet when she runs, but like runs ropes, but whatever. She has figured out a match that works for her that can be applicable to other people, and like that's where we are now.
Yeah, man, I can't wait till Rossi's mystery person is unveiled, and the person that welcomes them back to the promotion is the eel. You know, Unagi Sayaka. You know, will be assessing whoever this is.
So, semi-main event. This match was originally supposed to be a triple threat match, a 2-fall triple threat match between Mayu and Julia and Tam, where the first 2 fall, the winner of the first fall was going to be removed out the match, and then it was going to continue to be a singles match until there's a winner. And both people that won the 2 falls were going to be put into the main events in title matches against whoever the Red Belt champion is by that time at both Sumo Hall shows. Tam, like a couple hours before the show starts, they say that Tam, Waka, and Mai all were physically not in good enough condition to compete, which nudge, nudge, wink, wink is probably, you know, what you think it is. So because, you know, like Tam and Waka and Mai are scheduled to wrestle at Korakuen Hall in a couple hours. So, you name me other thing where you know, not conditionally fit to perform, and then 4 days later you are. Like, I'll give you a nudge. Somebody somebody, it's actually not somebody, Matt Jackson said that he beat it in 4 days also, or 2 days actually, just recently. So, yeah, so that stunk that they missed out. But, they ended up having, between Mayu and Julia, I believe, this might be their best match. I kind of favor their Grand Prix match from last year, from a rewatch perspective, because it didn't go 30 minutes. But, this match was fucking excellent. This is one of the better matches in the history of Stardom. This match, given the way that it was laid out in the template, it reminds me a lot of the Tam and Mayu match from October. That title match also went to a 30-minute time limit draw. Just a lot of it was taken from that. And I had the same opinion for that match, where they were headed toward, or for my opinion, they were headed towards one of the best matches in promotion's history, and then the draw happens, and you're kind of just like, well, it leaves you on that kind of note. But but for me, I had to watching it and seeing that they were going through the beats of the Tam and Mayu match from October. I was like, oh, this is going to a 30-minute draw anyway. So I was already like, I already knew where it was headed, and then they kept headed there. I was like, oh, I'm not shocked at all. This went to 30 minutes. I knew it was going 30 minutes. It was the same exact match, or not same exact match, but very much the same match.
Yeah, I thought this was great. I knew it was a draw going in by the time I saw it, and I was pretty much just watching it and was like, yeah, this is pretty fucking good. And I was just about to say, here, take your 4.5 stars and go. Yep. And then like it just got better. Like, and I was like 4 3/4. Mayu had this thing where she essentially just taps back into being the icon, and it's like, yeah, I was hanging out for a year, damn near, but I'm back in a main event spot now, and I'm fucking incredible, so I'm gonna show it. And that part with the blood, like, I had to rewind that. Like, when I saw it, it was like, I was like, this shit went to another level, and then, like, you know, it ended right after that, and it was just like,
yeah, it ended like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, so Julia was awesome. Like, her physicality is something to behold. I'm still getting used to the look, but like with the hair and all that stuff. But
it's weird because like she didn't like, so she had the hair when she came back. She had the Hana Kimura, Rina Yamashita, emulate a black woman hair, right? When she came back, and then like at the beginning of January, like she had her normal hair, like she was like brought back to 2020. I'm sorry, yeah, back to 2020, and then like she got her hair done again. And it was like, all right, well, that's what you want to do. You know, I don't know how that works over there. I'm not. I wish I didn't have to see it, but whatever. That's I don't have the energy to be mad at her about that, because I don't know what they know and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. Whatever.
I mean, Julia already dressing as the police, so I don't know.
Yeah, she did that too.
A lot of questionable decisions.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like this match was awesome. Like, Mayu kicks Julia's ass for like the first 5 minutes of the match. Julia ends up answering back by basically, it was a situation where she actually like got by happenstance or by a reversal happened. Like she basically slapped on a submission on Mayu's arm, and then basically even throughout the match, like got back to submissions on her arm. They end up outside the ring. They brawl outside the ring. The ref comes out, trying to tell them to get back in the ring. Doesn't want to count them out. Doesn't even start to count. Julia throws him to the ground, and then like launches off his back for a missile drop kick. They end up back in the ring. They also teased a 20 count by like Mayu ends up hitting her with a tombstone on the floor. Julia answers back and like hits her with like hanging off the apron neck breaker. They make the count of 19. They throw headbutts to their feet. And then there's a run where they basically no sell German suplexes for like 6 of them, 3 apiece for each. There's a escape out the back door finish, that Julia hits that Mayu immediately reverses. Like, it was very much like that Tam Mayu match from October, where like the head bust, the fight outside with the ref, the head bust to the feet, the flash reversal pin that Mayu reverses, the run of suplexes. It was, I guess that's Mayu's like draw template. I don't know, but whatever. Like the match was awesome. And yeah, like it's one of the best matches of the year so far. Whether you like the finish or not. So yeah.
Draws. So I thought last year was the year to draw. So
it's going to continue. They got more people they got to protect, baby. There's going to be more draws probably. So yeah.
Body.
Yeah, so Mayu body in ends up going up for his second rope moonsault. I don't know if that's a EO tribute or not. She used to do second rope moonsaults and then hits you with a big one for a finish. But his second rope moonsault goes up, hits a second one. But before she hits the second one on the top rope, like she sits there forever because obviously, like to sell that, you know, the where's a battle also / buy time because I'm trying to get right to the draw, the time limit. So she gets up and hangs up there and fights to get to her feet and looks off balance and then finally hits it. And when she comes down, she lands with her waist right on Julia's jaw, and Julia gets split open on her jaw. And Julia kicks. She's bleeding everywhere. They get to their knees and they throw either headbutts or forearms, and the bell rings for a conclusive finish. Great match. One of the best matches of the year so far. So Rossi then says, you know, y'all went to a draw, so both of you get the title shots on March 26th and 27th at the Sumo Hall shows. I think Mayu, I don't know what she said, but Mayu basically said, like, I'll take the last one. I'll take the last show. Thank you. I don't know exactly what she said. She probably like, look, I had you damn near beat, so I'll take the last one. You go out there and fight. You go out there and wear down Shuri for me, and then I'll go take the belt probably after you wear each other out. But yeah, they shook hands afterwards, and they went and going to the back. So then the main event, the red belt title match, Shuri in her first defense versus Mirai, the new incomer. And this match was power versus this wrestler. And Shuri ended up working this to where she was overwhelmed at first, and then she wore over time. She wore Mirai the fuck out. And then Mirai was holding for dear life, and she kept fighting, and the crowd got behind her and started clapping in the cadence that Mirai wanted them to clap for her in. And I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen, you know, Shuri's one of the hardest kickers in the world. I don't think I've ever seen her kick anyone as hard as she was kicking Mirai. She fucked her chest up.
Straight up, bro. So this was a gang initiation. You want to be down with Donald Del Mondo? All right, you gonna fight me, the world class woman on another level, Shuri. Like Shuri was fucking bullying her, but she wouldn't die. And Shuri like kind of loses focus, and then Mirai like starts handing her ass at a certain point in the match. But then Shuri's like, "Well, I'm Shuri, and I ain't fucking losing." And then she fucked her up even more.
And then kicks came out, and then the kicks come. I love when Shuri holds off on the kicks. I love it. Like that's some shit. So like the biggest equalizer in wrestling right now is like once she wrestle you, like she also has how she forms her matches where like she'll always take a big bump out on the floor on the apron too. Shuri. After she's already like gotten control of the match, they give control back to her opponent. But like, man, like once some kicks fly off, it's just on a different level. Like, it just changes the fucking temperature of the room. But yeah, like as you mentioned, Mirai kept fighting, and then eventually like, Shuri just fucking took her fucking head took her fucking head off with a buzzsaw kick, got her up, actually started throwing some spinning back fists, some hurricanes, and it sent Mirai over to the ring ropes, and then she got behind her, lifted her up, and hit her with the one wing emerald flosion and got the win. And they signed off. This was an excellent show. I ended up giving this I don't know, probably like 4 and a quarter, I don't know, but it went like 20 something minutes, like over 25 minutes, 26 minutes, 27 minutes, and like you know, like, this is somebody that, like, doesn't even have 100 matches, I don't think. Like, I have to look it up, but, like, this is
impressive.
Yeah.
Like, this was great.
Yeah. Like, this is a woman that is, like, basically just a power wrestler that has the stock setting yet, like the young girl setting, and like we'll see what she ends up developing into with what she adds over time. But like she's not even close to fully formed, and she went out there with one of the best in the world. And you know what? In a way, it reminds me of the 2018 Grand Prix final with Utami and Mayu, where it's like this woman has no business having a match of this caliber given her stage. Like, obviously, you know, Utami was only like that was probably like her fucking 15th match, but still, it was like of that level where it's like. You went damn near 30 minutes with one of the best wrestlers in the world. You had a great match and you held your own. And like, who knows what the fuck you're going to be in 2 years? So yeah, Mirai has a career 80 matches.
Kriller says, why didn't Tokyo Joshi Pro have anything for Mirai? I can't answer that.
I mean, okay, why didn't they have anything for Natsupoi? Why didn't they have anything for? Well, I mean, she was a mid-carder in Tokyo Joshi Pro. You get my point. Like, Tokyo Joshi Pro has like 6 really good wrestlers, and then the rest are like people that have. Some people have a clue, and the rest don't. Right? Like, I think Suzume and I think Arisu Endo have clues. I think like Palm Harajuku and like Raku and like Hyper Masao, and some of them like they're like comedy people are too far gone or not good enough or don't even have a fucking clue. Like Mina, they didn't do nothing with Mina. They didn't do nothing with Unagi. I think a lot of that had to do with Unagi having a dislocated elbow and was out for a while. But like Natsupoi was somebody where it's like I saw Natsupoi. First time I ever saw her in Tokyo Joshi Pro was against Sarai, right? Mm-hmm. And that was like a damn near 4-star match. They killed it. I'm like, why is this woman just a mid-carder? I know how good Tokyo Joshi Pro, how much depth they have. She should be like at the top of the card, but that's not what they use it for. So like, you know, they have Miyu, and Miyu's their ace, and Miyu beats everyone's asses, and eventually like she'll put over Yuka and it'll feel great, but it'll always come back to Miyu, and eventually like Maki Ito will end up beating Miyu, and eventually like hopefully Mizuki will beat Miyu, but they just got a top 6 or top 7. Like I think Akari Noah is really good too. But that's kind of where they have it at, and I don't know why they don't want to expand to that. I don't know why I don't feel like they push people in the way that Stardom does. But from what I've seen and from what I hear, but you know, I'll take the people that were talented that they didn't want to do nothing with in here. Like Natsupoi's fucking awesome.
Yes.
So yeah. Like Mirai, I know a lot of people were really high on her because I think Miyu has like a factor of just being like bigger than the other girls, right? And Mirai is way bigger than Miyu, or so like they may have given her the push because she would have been like their Utami, but their Utami is now another Utami here, so it is what it is.
Not no more.
Yeah, but yeah, this is gonna be the best show of the year for until at least Revolution comes around. Yeah. So this is a good ass show. This is gonna be one. I don't think there'll be 15 shows better than this year.
Yeah, man.
We'll see.
So
yeah. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, y'all. Get those votes in for One Nation Radio Awards 2021.
I'll probably count those up pretty soon. I think we're coming up on maybe some type of light week at some point this month. So we'd like to, appreciate it, Kriller. If you guys can get your votes in, check the link of this show in the description. We got, like I said, close races and, FOH draft still out there. We got a round number that it would be nice to hit that we're not that far away from. So go ahead and help your boys out. You want to hear the craziest podcast of the year? Check that out. payhip.com/social suplex. And
also go to our Red Circle, and drop us off a donation. Donations, gifts, all that. And be sure to check out the other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, and AEW Match Guide. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Did you know Amazon provides ways of working that fits your lifestyle? They know you value your time outside of work, juggling family, school, friends, or other activities. That's why they offer a variety of shifts that work for you. There are full-time, part-time, and even temporary opportunities that can work with your schedule. With great starting pay and sign-on bonuses. If you want a career that fits and adapts to your lifestyle, head to Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is a proud equal opportunity employer.